shout out to everybody. Hopefully we get through this. The stream has been bugging, you know what I'm saying, the past couple of streams, but I do want to say shout out to everybody that's been supporting me, you know what I mean? Like we gonna get back to it. So I looked, and it looks like Lara Trump is having an interview with Charlamagne the God from the Breakfast Club. It's a couple of people that went ahead and reacted to that. This is a very, very interesting interview. You know, I think what they were thinking is that she wasn't going to have her facts together, and she was just like, oh, some pretty girl that was coming up there and didn't know what she was talking about. But she ended up having a very, very interesting discussion with Charlamagne the God, which everybody knows he's like, you know, ultra liberal. They basically control Charlamagne the God, allegedly. Thug life. It is what it is. You're like, he is super liberal. Anything and everything that the Democratic agenda is for, it seems like he tends to be for. And for some reason, they feel like Charlamagne the God is the mouthpiece for Black America. And it's very interesting the type of people that are being chosen to be representatives of the African-American males when it comes to Democratic Party, who they choose to pick. It's astounding to me, you know, that they think that we identify with Charlamagne the God. But shout out to Charlamagne the God. He's got her on, so let's listen to it a little bit. Now, this is Devori going ahead and reacting to it. I want to do this first because a lot of times when you react to certain people, like I think it was the interview with Kamala Harris and Charlamagne the God that was on the Breakfast Club channel. I tried to do it, and then it got hit with a copyright. Then I had to like fight through that. But I'm reacting to somebody that's reacting to it, so maybe it'll go through. We'll see what goes on. But shout out to everybody. We got PGZ in the chat, Marcus Chapman's in the chat, Jose Soto in the chat, Deontay Kennedy in the chat. Shout out to y'all. A real G is in the chat. Shout out.
What did he do? He got a little bit upset. What did he do on January? He got a little bit upset and used his words. What words did he say, though? The words that you said earlier. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. And then what happened after that? So how are his words actually contributing to that? Because I think that for me, him being able to just...
What you're going to see is like they're both like kind of just on her, bro. Like, it's ridiculous.
Went to the Breakfast Club and blew up their argument to pieces.
So somebody, a real OG, I went ahead and blocked him.
Okay, because we know how they feel about Trump and how they buy into the propaganda, and how she responded left them speechless. So let's start with the biggest claim against Trump is that everybody accuses him of being a racist, which we all know is not true, but here we go.
You know, this is a man who, as I said in the beginning, was beloved by so many people in this country, and he was friends with everybody. You go, a lot of celebrities. Jesse Jackson, by the way, his Rainbow Coalition. He had black friends. That's not going to work. No. He let them stay rent free in one of his buildings. The Rainbow Coalition, because he felt like at the time that was a very important thing. You can go pick apart somebody all you want. It is a traditional talking point to attack Republicans, to call them racist. But when you look at the things that he wants for this country, he wants every person to be successful. He wants Black Americans to be successful, Hispanic Americans to be successful, women to be successful. And he worked that way when he was in the White House. And whether you want to talk about...
Shout out to Sugar Black. She is the moderator of the chat. Shout out to Sugar Black. Appreciate that.
Actually funding in perpetuity historically Black colleges and universities. Whether you want to talk about the First Step Act, that allow
hey JS, like I don't mind, but like if like you're not about to come in here and like just like don't you know what I mean, like that guy that was in here earlier, like you can go, bro. Like we don't need you.
30,000 nonviolent felons to be released from prison who the 1994 crime bill actually put in prison. These are things that really have, I feel like, spoken to a lot of people.
Yeah, this has to be one of the biggest spins in the media, probably in history, how they turned someone who was so loved, but when they ran as a Republican for president, they all turned on him, of course. And obviously, he's not one to back down. So, of course, it also plays a factor. But here's the deal. If you were to look at the totality of his life, you wouldn't say that he's a racist. The racist rhetoric only comes from the Trump
Yeah, like back when Nelson Mandela was looking for safety. Like he chartered a flight for him, like all of the African Americans that he ended up allowing to get out of jail on a pardon. Like it's amazing the amount of things that he actually did, but they're continuing to call him a racist, which is crazy.
Arranged media, but not actually from concrete evidence or videotapes. And the Central Park Five is not a racist move or action. Okay. And one more thing, if we really want to say that somebody is racist in today's political arena, I think one of the people that clearly is closest to that is Sleepy Joe Biden. I mean, this guy passed legislation targeting black people. Okay. We know how he spoke to Clarence
Thomas. And he didn't want us to, what did he say? Like he didn't want his children to go to an integrated school because he didn't want his kid to be in the jungle. This is what Joe Biden said. Even Kamala Harris, when she was running against like Joe Biden, alluded to him being like racist. So it's just, this whole situation is funny to me.
Thomas, when he was trying to be confirmed, right, as the Supreme Court justice. I mean, come on. I mean, there's actually video footage. All right. There's no video footage of Trump being racist. There just isn't. Okay. So now we're on to the second thing that they always accuse Trump of doing, that he's a threat to democracy because of January 6th and that he's erratic and we can't trust him with the nuclear codes. She shut that down, too. Watch.
And, you know, people gave him so. You remember before when he was running in 2016, they were like, we can't give this guy the nuclear codes.
I agree with that, though. Even now to this point.
He was.
Charlamagne cannot be serious. Like, he cannot be serious. He literally just ran a country for 4 years. Like, what are you talking about, Charlamagne?
The only person, Charlamagne, not to get us into a new war. He was the one who got us the Abraham Accords, peace agreements that people said were impossible in the Middle East. So why is that? Why are you concerned about Donald Trump with the nuclear?
Did you see what he did January 6th?
What did he do?
He got a little bit upset.
What did he do on January 6th?
He got a little bit upset and used his words.
What words did he say, though?
The words that you said earlier.
Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
And then what happened after that?
So how were his words actually contributing to that?
Because I think that for me, him being able to just push a button, hypothetically speaking, it's a little bit scary because we've seen he gets a little bit erratic when he wants to.
Well, nothing happened for 4 years when he was in the White House. And in fact, we had a peaceful world. We had a stable world. We had world leaders who were coming to the table to talk about issues like Kim Jong-un of North Korea, by the way.
I mean, it's just common sense, right? It's just facts. Now, before I get into all that, if you're getting value from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you want to support us
Hey, yo, Devore Darkin, subscribe to his channel. Subscribe. His channel is moving like crazy. Shout out.
Obviously, undercover FBI agents there. They don't want to talk about how the Capitol Police denied additional support. They don't want to talk about the National Guard request was denied. You know, at the end of the day, they don't want to tell the full story because if they did that, clearly it would poke a hole in their argument against Trump as
lefties are losing it,
being a threat to democracy, which he isn't. We don't live in a democracy. That's one.
But it wasn't a peaceful transfer of power. And he did lead an insurrection in this country. And I know you keep saying the thing about the peace and patriotic part, but he also
offered
said...
leading an insurrection? Come on, Charlamagne.
Offered National Guard.
You know, it's crazy. Like, all that stuff that Kanye said, it's... As much as I want to think, like, Kanye is a loon, like, when he's saying, like, you know, the powers that be control the masses and the minds of the, you know, like, people in the urban community, this is a perfect example of that. Everything that she says, he's got a counter for it. Who is he representing? He's representing the Blue Party. He's a liberal through and through. And so they're pushing their politics on people who are trying to listen to music. It's very, very interesting.
Troops to Nancy Pelosi, she didn't want to take it. Look, here's what I can
tell you. He also said
we fight like hell. And we fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
And if you don't fight like hell,
okay, Charlamagne,
you're not going to have a country anymore.
Every politician, when you go out on the stump,
even after he got shot at, which was terrible, first thing he did when he stood up was say, fight, 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 fight who?
He wants to keep fighting for this.
Yeah, he didn't say, like, go to the Capitol and do that. Like, he didn't say none of that. Look, Charlamagne, this is why people were upset. Let me show you why people were upset, Charlamagne, because I don't think you understand this for some reason.
By 40 state representatives.
Hit the like button, Doug. Like, subscribe to the channel.
And state legislators, state senators from around the United States. And I'm going to read this to you. And this is going to be a seminal moment. Memo for record. Letter from state legislators to the American people. Reference the 2020 presidential election.
Listen to what she says.
To the citizens of the United States of America. We, the undersigned state legislators of the United States, are vested with the plenary power by our U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, to oversee the election of the president.
Hit the like button. Double tap the screen if you got the iOS device or you got an iPhone. Either one. Hit the screen. Double tap it. We got to let people see what is going on out here, bro.
Of the United States. It has come to our attention from an audit of 2.1 million ballots.
This is Wendy Rogers in Arizona. Listen to what she's about to say. They audited all them votes, and listen to what she's about to say.
In the state of Arizona, complemented by an in-depth canvass of votes in Arizona.
A forensic audit.
As through multiple different data reviews of voting by independent experts, that our representative republic suffered a corrupted 2020 election.
Oh, we've been trying to tell you.
In addition to Arizona, sworn affidavits have accumulated from many states detailing rampant corruption and mismanagement in the election process. Fraud and inaccuracies have already been shown through multiple audits and canvasses in multiple states, as well as through lawsuits challenging the validity of election results in several counties in multiple states. We have come to the conclusion that all 50 states need to be forensically audited.
I mean, she said that. Wendy Rogers said that all 50 states need to be forensically, audited. But Charlamagne is right. Like, when he said Donald Trump did say that, we fight like hell. Like, he did say that. He did. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to act like he didn't say it. But I wouldn't say that he's leading an insurrection. Like, I wouldn't go as far as to say that. Like, we tried to impeach him and do all this stuff like that. But he didn't, say, go to the Capitol. Insurrect. Like, he didn't say nothing like that, bro.
And we fight.
And I got the quote from him. It says his defense lawyer, however, pointed to a different passage in which Trump said, "I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard." They argue that his words were not a call for actual violence and lawlessness. So, I mean, it's however you want to take that.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
And if you don't fight like hell,
Charlamagne,
you're not going to have a country.
This is, NPR, if y'all want to see this. Because he's trying to push this Democratic agenda. His defense lawyer, however, points to a different passage in which Trump said, "I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard." They argue that this, come on, Charlamagne, bro.
Every politician, when you go out on the stump,
even after he got shot at, which was terrible, first thing he did when he stood up was say, "Fight, fight, fight, fight." Who?
He wants to keep fighting for this country.
He's fighting for the country. What are you? He's trying to mislead the listeners. The people that he feel that are uninformed. It's ridiculous.
And now we're on to the third biggest claim against Trump. It's funny how this is all lined up perfectly. The third one is the whole Russia hoax, right? They all think that Trump and Putin are best friends, and Trump colluded with Russia in order to steal the 2016 election. It's funny how I said the word steal, right? Because there's a lot of people who still believe that, but when Trump brings up 2020, he's wrong. Okay. But
even though a lot of reputable people kind of feel like there needs to be an audit, but whatever.
But of course they bring up the whole Russia thing. And once again, she provides common sense.
Donald Trump is the only person who I believe they know in Washington, D.C., they can't control. And that's a very scary prospect to them because
But is he controlled by Russia, though?
Are you kidding?
What are you talking about? Vladimir Putin is the one that said that, yo, he is in support of Kamala Harris. What are you, thug life? Like, hit the like button. People need to be seeing, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel.
Me?
I'm just asking. I'm asking a question. Is he controlled by Putin?
Are you really? We couldn't have colluded with
like
we couldn't have colluded with Iowa in 2016, let alone Russia, okay? And by the way, you want to know who did collude with Russia? It was Hillary Clinton and the DNC.
Oh! What you got to say about that, Charlamagne the fraud? Come on, bro.
And that was proven. They had the Steele dossier. They paid money to get Oppo research and make up stuff about Donald Trump. And guess what happened to them for trying to interfere in an election? You want to talk about the 34 felony counts via Alvin Bragg in downtown Manhattan? That was all about election interference. Hillary Clinton and the DNC admitted to doing this, and they got charged $83,000. Does that seem fair to anybody here? That's outrageous, and it's ridiculous, and every single person knows it. So does Donald Trump have anything to do with Russia? No, you know.
Does he have an earpiece in? Because I think somebody's probably in his ear. Look at him. He's trying to figure out how to flip every little thing that she says. And why? Because he's pushing the Democratic agenda. Why do you think he got an interview with Kamala Harris? Come on, let's be real. And then the interview on iHeartRadio, which dropped on the Breakfast Club. If you go ahead and you try to react to he's fraud. If you go ahead and you try to react to that interview, it gets either blocked or hit with a copyright. One or the other, or both. So they don't want that interview to be reacted to because people will see how he guided Kamala Harris through the entire interview and how she really didn't answer any questions when she was asked questions, especially by that guy. Asked her, what are you going to do for the African-American community? We've been voting Democrat all of these years and nothing has changed. Can you tell me right now? I feel like I'm qualified. I'm a business owner. I paid my dues in society. I feel like, I'm, kind of in a situation where I feel like I'm rightly standing in front of you asking you this question. Can you please answer this question? And she went ahead and told him she's going to help the banks. But you can't react to it. So it's like lunacy what they're doing. It's ridiculous. That's why they did the interview through iHeartRadio.
You know what he wants to do with Russia? He wants to get along with Russia so that we don't have wars.
I mean, they are technically with iHeartRadio, but that specific interview, the way it was done was iHeartRadio.
In Europe right now, that's what he would like to see happen.
Yeah, so that's not something that gets talked about. Hillary Clinton goes around the media threatening to censor, people's First Amendment of free speech.
And we played videos of that, didn't we? Of her threatening to censor free speech or saying that free speech needs to be censored.
Platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
She's on CNN, fake news, saying this. Why aren't they stopping her and saying, oh, well, what do you mean about, there needs to be total control and like what are you talking about? Why does fake, all these platforms need to be censored again? Can you repeat that? John Kerry went ahead and did a whole speech on why social media needs to be censored. And then now you got Kamala Harris, which is running for office. She's literally saying the same thing.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that...
And this is why she wants Elon Musk X to be taken down, because he made a statement, he made a post, and he's been saying yo, if you see any voting irregularities, post it on X. And, that way it'll be more difficult for them to sanitize it.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation, and that has to stop. He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that...
Yeah, but they won't say that, right?
Trying to promote the idea of getting rid of these social media platforms.
Then y'all got to think about this. Like even Robert Kennedy, like he's going in front of, like he's having censorship like hearings, trying to talk to them, and they're censoring him during the censorship hearings. It's like ridiculous. He can't even talk. Like they're just sitting there, like trying to push the Jewish agenda. That's what they're doing. Like saying, oh, well, you said this happened with the J people and that happened with the J people, and you don't believe in the H word and you don't believe in it. Like he's like, can I talk? Like, what's her name? What's Hobby, whatever her name is. Like she was like, she would not let this dude talk. Robert Kennedy. Why are they coming at Robert Kennedy? Because he just went on Dr. Phil talking about, I don't even know if I can say it, Dr. Fauci, whatever. That's how I'm gonna call it. You know what I mean? I know his real name, but I ain't, that's how I called him. You know what I'm talking about. Like he was saying that he's going to get $150,000 for the rest of his life, and his kids are going to get paid as long as that jab is like in circulation. You know, Robert Kennedy went on Dr. Phil and said that right after he said that, they've been coming at him ever since. And he also didn't like that they were fact checking Donald Trump instead of fact checking both parties. He had an issue with that. And now they're coming at him. But shout out to Donald Trump. Donald Trump said, yo, if I get elected, you're going to be a part of my administration. Oh, they really don't want that. They don't want that at all. You know, like, because they're for censorship, Charlamagne the God. Maybe this is why a lot of these companies, social media companies, are so for the left, because they're afraid that they're going to end up introducing legislation to censor them or force a sale of their company like they did with TikTok. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below about that. It seems like freedom of speech is an issue for the left.
And the government have more control over them. But all this time, she was already punished for actually colluding with Russia. But the media doesn't want to talk about that. So again,
hit the like button. Let's get this video up. Thug Life. Also subscribe to the channel if you can. We trying to run this channel up to 100,000 subscribers. We were at 67,600. I think it was 67,700 like a little bit over about 2 weeks ago. Now we at 89,200 subscribers. We got to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. People need to be seeing, it's people like me, it's people like Devori, it's people like Anila, it's people like all these people, you know what I'm saying, Anton Daniels, that think differently. We do not all think like Charlamagne the God. He does not represent all of us. You know what I mean? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if y'all can. We try to get this up to 100,000.
That's why the media's trust has hit an all-time low.
I don't trust the media at all. No, as far as I don't trust. Thug Life, hit 1 in the chat if you think you trust the media. Hit 2 in the chat if you do not trust the media. Let me know what y'all think. This is my one. I do not trust the media at all. At all. Double tap the screen. Hit the like button right now. If you can't hit the like button, they trying to hide it. Hit the hearts. You know what I mean? Hit the 100s, hit all of that. We got to break into the algorithm. The algorithm is being controlled by the left on a lot of different platforms. Hit the likes. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust no media out here like y'all is wilding.
The reason why so many people love or hate Trump is because we know he cannot be controlled. Now, if you're an establishment and you have, you know, elites and donors in your pocket, right, supporting your campaign, you don't like that idea. If you're a person who gets rich off the military complex, you don't like Trump, okay? The bottom line is...
if you're somebody that's a union representative, right? And you want to shut down the ports and all that so everybody can get more money. Like, yeah. Did you see the union representative's house that was trying to shut down the ports? We reacting. We seen, like, how he lives. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's pretty big. I think his house is almost bigger than Trump's. You know, some things that they don't talk about, but they are willing to shut down the economy. And what did the left say about that? Nothing. They waited until collective bargaining was done, and then Biden comes rearing his head, saying like, oh, I'm glad that they got the collective bargaining done. But you didn't have, like, you didn't have nothing to say when they was threatening to shut down the whole economy, or the ports that was going to affect the economy, and they threatened to, like, mess the economy up. They said nothing. You know what I mean? This is what unions will do. This is why a lot of different you know, places are moving to, like, you know what I mean, states that don't make them have to have a union. It's ridiculous.
Trump is not supposed to be in Washington. He should be running his businesses, traveling around the world, living a great life.
I mean, I think if you look back at Donald Trump's history, you know, he last night we were at the Al Smith dinner, and he was right there next to Chuck Schumer, and he said to Chuck Schumer, who's obviously a Democrat senator, he said, I gave Chuck his first check ever when he was running for like assemblyman or something. So yeah,
that's why Chuck was laughing so hard. Remember we asked why Chuck was laughing so hard? Yeah, Chuck was laughing, boy.
I don't be liking the optics of that. Only reason I say I don't like the optics of that is because when you hear people like Chuck Schumer say things like Trump is a threat to democracy.
And don't get me wrong, like, vote for who you want to vote for, right? Some people feel like they blue, they blue. Some people feel like they red, they red. The objective of this channel is to show a different perspective. You know what I mean? We don't all think like this dude, like, that's spreading this disinformation. We don't all think like Don Lemon that's spreading disinformation, taking sound bites and running with it when he knows some of them sound bites is wrong. But they'll do that to control y'all minds. They use music to do it. They use the movies. They use all these different to control your mind.
But then you're sitting next to him yucking it up. Why would you be yucking it up with somebody who you consider a threat to democracy?
Well, you have to ask yourself that question, don't you? Maybe it's all scare tactics. Maybe it's a lot of fear mongering. Charlamagne, what I can tell you is I know Donald Trump. I have known him for 16 years, and Chuck Schumer's known him a lot longer than I have, and I think he knows full well he's not a threat to democracy. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at what he did when he was in the White House. Like, there was never any threat to democracy when he was in the White House.
Well, there was an attempted coup of the country.
Well, that you can argue that a lot of different ways. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard is not an attempted coup.
See, she caught it. Shout out to her, bro. She on point. This dude, bro.
What was a coup was when they replaced Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, who was not elected by anyone to run for president. There are 14 million people who voted for Joe Biden to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. And if you want to talk about a real threat to democracy, I would argue that.
They don't like the fact.
Charlamagne, what's up with that? You ain't got nothing to say about it? Thug life. Charlamagne is compromised. Wait a minute. Shout out to Colin Radley with the $4.99. Good morning, Piper Nation. Thug Life. Smash the like button, y'all. We trying to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? Hit the likes. We've been getting the views. 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 on the video. We've been doing that within the past week. It's cool, Thug Life. But we got to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. So when they try to hit us with copyright and do all these little things that they doing, we got a little bit more, you know what I mean, like influence on what's going to happen with that. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
That someone from the business world who never ran for office before became the president. There's only so much you could do for people who have already made up their mind that they hate him. Doesn't matter.
Shout out to Kingdom Pride Contractors said, shout out to Australia watching you.
They want to believe everything the media says, knowing damn well that the media lies. The Breakfast Club is no different. That's who they are. They are
the left.
Bought into the propaganda that Trump is a bad person. But I guarantee none of those people in the room besides Lara Trump has actually had lunch with Trump and actually got to know him. But I think the way she handled herself probably...
She did a very good job. You know, and she needs a shout out for that. Very good job. If y'all got her social media, you know what I mean? Hit her up on social media and say, good job representing.
Donald Trump really was very beneficial to the Black community when he was in the White House. I will say I've never seen this man say a racist thing. I think the attacks are fairly... Why is that funny, Charlamagne?
I'm just like, it's hysterical. But I mean...
But no, Charlamagne...
And meanwhile, Joe Biden was on the Breakfast Club saying, if you ain't voting for me, you ain't black. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's like signing bills to help lock up, target African Americans. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is saying he don't want his kid to go to a school where he feels like they're going to be in the jungle because it's integration. But he want to sit up there and fake chuckle. This is insane. This is literal insanity, y'all. I cannot believe this. Hit the like button.
Why is that funny, Charlamagne?
I'm just like,
people got to see this. We don't think like him.
Because people act like there's no such thing as Google, or we don't have TV.
Well, what is it that you think that he said?
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
This morning, a bitter...
Exactly. Like, yeah, hit the super chat too. Shout out to y'all. And somebody said Obama did the same thing. Trying to shame the black community into voting for Kamala Harris. He literally just did that.
Backlash after President Trump referred to Haiti and African nations as S-hole countries during a meeting on immigration Thursday.
This remark by the President of the United States smacks of blatant racism.
Here's what I'll say. You know, this is a man who, as I said in the beginning, was beloved by so many people in this country, and he was friends with everybody. You go
a lot of celebrities.
Jesse Jackson, by the way, his Rainbow Coalition.
He had black friends. That's not going to work.
No. He let them stay rent free in one of his buildings. The Rainbow Coalition, because he felt like at the time that was a very important thing. You can go pick apart somebody all you want. It is a traditional talking point to attack Republicans, to call them racist. But when you look at the things that he wants for this country, he wants every person to be successful. He wants Black Americans to be successful, Hispanic Americans to be successful, women to be successful. And he worked that way when he was in the White House. And whether you want to talk about actually funding in perpetuity historically Black colleges and universities, whether you want to talk about...
They're even like trying to say J.D. Vance is like racist. Don't he have like, aren't his kids like mixed races? Like, these people is just...
The First Step Act that allowed 30,000 nonviolent in perpetuity historically Black colleges and universities. Whether you want to talk about the First Step Act that allowed 30,000 nonviolent felons to be released from prison, who the 1994 crime bill actually put in prison. These are things that really...
Mr. Biden.
I didn't even know it was 30,000. I thought it was just 100.
I didn't know how many it was, but
30?
That's a lot.
That's
a lot.
Joe Biden signed the crime bill, got them put in. He signed the First Step Act, got them out. But he's the racist one.
But Donald Trump is the racist. And he's getting them out.
First Step Act that allowed 30,000 nonviolent felons.
For them to believe that, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this because, dude, they be lying, bro. They be lying. And this is another African-American guy that Trump and got out of jail. The man who Trump freed from federal prison after he served almost 2 decades for a non-violent crime just released a video thanking Trump. He freed me after losing all my appeals and being denied by the Obama administration. But Trump is the racist one. What is y'all talking about?
Thank these people in this book and show them some appreciation for being a part of my life and helping me turn my story.
But this is what they will not talk about. Thug Life. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Oh, we going up. We going up. We going to hit that 100,000 subscribers. That's what we doing. More people going to hear about this.
Set the whole mood and the tone of the...
Wildin'.
To be released from prison, who the 1994 crime bill actually put in prison. These are things that really have, I feel like, spoken to a lot of people, but more so than anything, the economy right now is such that I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
It is hurting you, and it is something that he wants to fix. He wants every American to have their shot at the American dream. And, you know, I hate that that is the constant knee jerk is Donald Trump is a racist, Donald Trump is a racist. I can tell you he wants every person to be successful. He'll work for every American equally. He did that the first term when he was president, and he'll do it again.
Well, how do you ask like...
Shout out to Mafioso in the chat. Shout out to you.
How do you ask Mexicans and Muslims to ignore a lot of the rhetoric, Haitians to ignore a lot of the rhetoric that he said about them that is dangerous, that has villainized them, that has demonized them?
Well, I would say...
How's that villainize them and demonize them, bro? Like he's saying like, all right, so we gonna watch a video on this. I didn't want to run that video again, but we gonna run this video. It's debunking like all of these falsehoods that people like Charlamagne the God is putting out. He's not saying like if you're a Haitian or this and that you're just a bad person. What he's saying, like people from Mexico and people from there, like they are sending the bad ones. You know what I'm saying? They are. You know, he said like, you know what I mean? Like you come over here legally, whatever. He's talking about the people that come over here and commit crimes. That's what he's talking about, you know, but you're just looking at a small piece of it. Oh, he's villainizing the whole, like, come on.
Anyone who's coming to this country illegally, he's very against, and every American should be very against. If you're an American citizen, Donald Trump doesn't care your religion. He doesn't care what you look like. He will work for you, and he wants to make this country safe for you. We should all want a secure southern border. A lot of the comments get misconstrued that he says about people coming here illegally. They're breaking our federal law to come here illegally. And that should be upsetting to everyone.
When you make these broad generalizations, you do hurt the Haitian Americans that are here, the Mexican Americans that are here. They all get labeled and villainized and demonized.
Yeah, but you know what? I think people are finally seeing through that. It's very easy to clip up something like that and say like, oh, let's push this out here. When he's referencing these things, he's talking about people who are illegally in our country. He doesn't want us to have 350 people on the terror watch list here. There's a guy who was arrested the other day, an ISIS member who was arrested the other day, who had planned a November 5th election day attack on American citizens.
Like, let's be real again. I keep saying.
Hold on. Let me see this.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating.
Look at Kamala Harris is saying.
The pets of the people that live there.
Now back to our other top story. Last night, President Trump doubled down on claims that Haitian immigrants are eating pets in Springfield, Ohio. Our verified team confirmed with the Springfield mayor that these claims are false.
He was low-key bugging with that. I ain't gonna lie, Trump. Like, you was bugging with that one, bro.
ISIS was eradicated under Donald Trump. We did not even talk about it anymore.
I forgot about ISIS.
He got into the White House and he talked to his top military brass and he said, okay, you guys tell me, how long is it going to take to deal with ISIS? Because ISIS was a big threat. People were constantly talking about it, worried about terror attacks.
Philly said, I ain't going to lie, me and my homies registered to vote just to vote for Trump.
They said, sir, it's going to take us a couple years maybe. You know, we have to call the White House every time we want to have some big operation. And he said, how about this? You guys just go do whatever it is you need to do. You don't need to call me. You guys are the experts. I'm not a military expert. You take care of it and let's see what happens. 4 weeks, ISIS was gone. The fact that we're talking about ISIS back in the here in the United States of America, an ISIS member should terrify everybody. The open border has been a disaster. So yeah, he's upset about it. And yes, he says things about people coming here illegally, and rightly so. And you and I, as American citizens, should be the ones absolutely infuriated that this has been allowed to happen.
New York has a problem now, and he's about to. No. And New York has a problem now, and he's about to like shrug it off. And they literally have a problem with it right now. Literally have a problem with it right now.
I agree with you. The border is a disaster. I feel like the border is
so she put him in, like she checking. Wait a minute, hit the like button. She checking. He had to agree with that. I was about to say, if he don't agree with that, bro.
Here illegally, and rightly so. And you and I, as American citizens, should be the ones absolutely infuriated that this has been allowed to happen.
I agree with you. The border is a disaster. I feel like the border is a bipartisan issue, though, because the border has been terrible under multiple administrations.
Well, we had the lowest border crossings when Donald Trump was in the White House that we've ever had.
Yes, but I still feel
that's a fact. And then the Democratic Party, as soon as they got in, they overturned his executive orders and everything. That's why the people at the border don't even like support Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? Border Patrol and stuff like that. They support Trump because he gave them everything that they needed, the tools and everything to get the job done.
I feel like it's going to take some bipartisan legislation, to actually do things at the border. You can't do executive orders. You can't do that. So how come they can't come to terms on that? And why did Donald Trump shoot down what they said was one of the most comprehensive bipartisan border bills that
if you actually read what was in there, there was like $60 billion for Ukraine. There were so many issues with that. It would allow 1.8 million illegal immigrants into our country a year. I mean, it was nonsense.
See, they thought that they was gonna get Laura on here.
And she had all the facts.
And she was gonna fall.
She said, well, about that bill, it was gonna give $60 billion to Ukraine. Oh, first step back. Oh, 30,000 free black men. Oh, or not black men, but men.
I'm trying to see if they're gonna fact check her. I'm waiting for the black girl. I'm waiting for the black girl on the right side.
Look, she got the fact check screen up right now. She trying to fact check it right now. She can't find nothing. Like, she is smoking them.
Google up. Look, you see it in the corner. Look, she got the Google up. She said, "Is that true?"
It was nonsense, honestly, Charlamagne. And we should all want a secure southern border. It's why Donald Trump built over 500 miles of border wall when he was in office. And I went down to the border wall, and I saw it with my own eyes. I went down to Yuma, Arizona about a month ago. And to talk to the people in those communities, look, they say now every state is a border state because of this. The people who live in Yuma, Arizona are being so negatively impacted. If you're a pregnant woman in Yuma, Arizona, they kind of say, you may not want to plan to have a baby in our hospitals here because they're so overrun taking care of people who cross the border. It's dangerous. They say a third of women are sexually assaulted. The people there told me it's probably closer to 50% who come up.
Isn't that like scary? Like if you're a woman, like 50% are like that can happen. Like that is insanity
over the southern border. So it's terrible for them. But because
then the hospitals are being overran, and then people, if they want to give birth, they got to like drive like hours away just to go to a hospital to have that done because all the hospitals are overran. Like this is like, what is going on in America, y'all?
Of them having to take care of all the illegal migrants coming over. You can't even be assured you're going to have a place to deliver a baby in Yuma, Arizona. They say you're going to have to drive either 2 hours to San Diego or 3 hours north to Phoenix.
I just said that. And then Sugar Black, she said they getting free health care. We literally just watched Kamala Harris. Shout out, subscribe to the channel. Thug Life, it is what it is. We're getting to 100,000 subscribers. Be a part of history. Listen, so we seen Kamala Harris on Univision getting grilled by somebody saying, my family was living in the shadows, they're here illegally. I worked to try to get my father legal status. Unfortunately, my mother passed before I can get her legal status. What are you going to do to ensure people that are living in the shadows are getting the health care that they deserve? Is she crazy? Wait a minute. And then Kamala Harris is sitting there placating this girl instead of saying, ma'am, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, you know, it's a sad situation that you had to go through. You were born here legally. This is sad, right? But unfortunately, you have to come here legally in order to get specific type of benefits. That's why you want to go through the programs to get here legally. She should have said that to her. And the gall of that girl to stand in front of a vice president and think that she can talk to a vice president like that. Like a vice president just gonna roll over and just say, yeah, anybody that's living in the shadows can and will get the health care in America that they deserve. But in my opinion, I think they got the health care they deserve. They here illegally. Which means you don't get none. Thug life. It is what it is. Sign the papers, do what you got to do, come here legally, and then you get all of that. I cannot go to Switzerland and just say, give me health care now. I've been here for 2 years. And then what I don't get, right, because the logic just really doesn't make sense to me. Hit the super chat if you can. The logic really doesn't make sense to me, right? So if one of your parents has an issue and they're not here legally, take them back so that they can get treated. Wouldn't that make sense? That's a little bit too much common sense. Wait a minute. Hit the like button. Thug Life, we got 30,000 views up in here. Subscribe to the channel. That's what I was, bruh. Like, why didn't y'all go ahead and take her back so she can get treated? Did that not compute? You want her to just live in the shadows forever? Makes no sense to me, bro.
So having gone and seen it with my own eyes.
And then Young Dick said, I swear they're going to use these immigrants for voting. That's what they're trying to do. Why do you think they undid the border policies that Trump did? And she's sitting down with 60 Minutes and he's telling her, yo, within and he's for her. But he's telling her, yo, within 2 years, border crossings have quadrupled. What? They did this on purpose so they can come in here. In California, they're thinking about getting rid of voter ID. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they don't want to be sitting here pandering to me or you anymore. They're tired of it. Black people been asking them to do something for all these years, and now we're getting to the point that we tired of hearing about them saying they're going to do something, and they never do. So now people done switched up like, hey, Thug Life, when Trump was here, I was living better. All right, you don't want to give me reparations? At least I want somebody that's going to be president that's going to give me a chance. And I don't know about y'all, but a lot of people I know felt like they had a better life when he was running. I bought a house when he was running. Thug life. I got a hot tub. I got all kind of stuff. When he was president, life was better. Gas prices was cheaper. Food prices was cheap. I just bought eggnog. Pause. Thug life. It was $7.99 for a little thing of eggnog. That is ridiculous. Groceries are out. Groceries is the new rent. And some people are put in a position to where rent keeps going up because there's less housing and you got a flood of people coming in from different countries, a flood of people coming in from everywhere that you can't stop. So if I'm a landlord or if I own an apartment building, the thing that I'm going to do is raise the cost of the mortgage, of the rent, of the cost of buying the house because it's supply and demand is what it is. So yes, they are affecting the market by doing that. And shout out to Melissa Sue B with the $2 like. I appreciate that. This is affecting everything.
Tell you the most infuriating part to me. Rights. You have this border wall.
Be a part of history. We trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel.
Built. And then laying down on the ground where you have a wide open section are pieces of the border wall that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because they campaigned and said, we will not build another foot of Donald Trump's border wall.
They did knock down the wall. They knocked down the wall.
Laying on the ground.
This is literally insane. New York is being overran too. And he's sitting there acting like nothing's happening. Why didn't you question Kamala Harris when she was up there talking to you? Charlamagne, you walked her through that interview. You and Al Sharpton were walking her through interviews. Why were you doing that?
Are pieces of the border wall that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because they campaigned and said, we will not build another foot of Donald Trump's border wall. It's laying on the ground. And there are people who come right through there. They could stand it up right now if they wanted to, but they won't do it. That is very frustrating, I think, to see right now that we paid for that. It's right there ready to go. And if they're not leaving it on the ground, then they're selling.
We paid for it. Our tax dollars paid for that wall, and you're knocking it down. And you're selling pieces of it. Meanwhile, she said 50% of the women around, you know what I'm saying? She said are our word. They taking it from them. They doing all of this stuff. You see what I'm saying? There's a problem. Put the wall up.
Trump's border wall.
Salute. Still watching your last one with Joe Brown. Appreciate you, Allie Mack, with the $2 donation.
On the ground. And there are people who come right through there. They could stand it up right now if they wanted to, but they won't do it. That is very frustrating, I think, to see right now that we paid for that. It's right there ready to go. And if they're not leaving it on the ground, then they're selling it for, pennies on the dollar.
If the bipartisan border bill was so bad, like you say, how come so many Republicans were for it until Donald Trump intervened to say no?
I don't think Donald Trump intervened at all. He's not in elected office right now, and
he literally told him not to do it.
How do you know?
I don't think that's true. But I also no.
You sitting here laughing.
Well, ask Donald
Were
Trump
you there?
himself. He will tell you.
That's a good question. I wonder for you, how tough is it having the last name Trump? Because you are the co-chair of the.
See how he always, like, when he gets caught up, he steers somebody away from something important to something silly. How was it for you having the last name Trump? Bro, we were just talking. This dude, bro. The left agenda is at play here. That is what's going on. He is here to distract you. That is Charlamagne the God's job, is to distract you.
You do have the last name Trump. You know you're the daughter-in-law. How hard is it for you to have
they don't. Hey, y'all think Charlamagne the God is the voice for us? Did you hear what the dude just said? I ain't say it. He said it.
That's a good question. I wonder for you, how tough is it having the last name Trump? Because you are the
I ain't saying he about to say it.
You do have the last name Trump.
He said it, not me.
You're the daughter-in-law. How hard is it for you to have to always answer questions about Donald Trump?
Well, nothing prepares you for this. I can tell you, growing up where I did, I would have never expected to have the last name Trump. I certainly would have never expected to be involved in all of this. And yeah, sometimes it's challenging, but I'll tell you, I really believe when history looks back on this man, this is a man who never needed this job. You know, you have to think back, like we were talking about before, Donald Trump was beloved by so many. He really got involved in politics because he felt he could make a positive difference. And most people would have had that first term in office and seen how much they fought against him and said, you know what, I'm not going to do this again. But he decided to come back and do it again. Bullets. They indicted him.
You know, why Kamala Harris is sitting there talking to Brett Baier, and she's saying that, oh, well, we could have been fixing the border and doing all of this if we, you know, but 9 months ago, Trump was this and Trump was that. You know what? Why you guys couldn't like fix everything? Because you were spending too much resources and money trying to give Trump a felony. But it doesn't matter that he got a felony. We all voting for the felon. Thug life. You done did it all for nothing. And now you at the end of the road in your administration and you don't have anything to show for yourself right now. Other than every time you ask a question, you're talking about you grew up in a small town. Every time you answer the question, if you ain't saying that, you're blaming Trump for something. And you're saying that, oh, he's got authority within the Congress. He's got influence in the Congress still, even though he's not president. We can't get anything passed. Tim Walz is saying the same thing in the vice presidential debate with Vance. So if Tim Walz is saying they can't get anything passed through the Congress, why are they in office? They can't do nothing.
Not once, but 4 times. Mugshot. Obviously, 2 assassination attempts. And this is a man who continues fighting for this country. And I will tell you, I'm incredibly proud to be his daughter-in-law.
2 assassination attempts, and he's still fighting for the country. This dude is a billionaire. He could be out doing like whatever on a yacht, chilling. Saint-Tropez, and you know what I mean? Like Cyclades Island, anywhere. He don't have to be here. Y'all trying to take him out, do all this stuff, lying on him, dragging his name through the mud. Like, come on, bro. Y'all is wilding.
I'm incredibly proud to have the last name
Somebody
Trump.
said, oh, the Bone Spurs. Shout out to Bone Spurs.
Does it come with its challenges? Because there is a lot of negative information out there about Donald Trump. Absolutely. But I can't think of anything better that I could be doing right now than trying to fight for the future of this country. And I really believe
Charlamagne
that when people think about their life with Donald Trump in office.
Yo, she kind of smoking, dude. He don't have nothing to say, bro. They are trying to fact check her. They cannot figure it out. They literally can't even do nothing, bro. This is crazy.
And their life right now, they will always say, my life was better with him in
office.
Hey,
y'all, if y'all care, even the Breakfast Club, share the interview, man. She is smoking them. Shout out to her. What's her name? Lara Trump?
And we should all want a great country. And that's what I want. I want it for my kids. I want it for everybody's kids and grandkids. And it's not just about right now. It's about the future of America.
You keep saying he had a lot of celebrity friends and they turned on him.
He sure did.
How does he feel about that? Because, you know, in the 90s, the early 2000s, everybody was hanging with Donald Trump. They would mention him in songs and, going to his parties and all these events. But they all have turned. How does he feel about that? Do you know?
Is it because they got told to turn?
I think he knows what he's doing is so important right now. And
you got to understand this, too, DJ Envy. I mean, he not like Charlamagne. Like, I got a little bit more... I give him a little bit more latitude. Like, he seems like a little bit cooler than Charlamagne the God. But the reason why a lot of people are probably turning on Trump, DJ Envy, is because they're probably looking at the government sending all of their resources towards locking Trump up. You know what I mean? And taking everything from him, and giving them felonies and things like that. So a lot of celebrities are like, I kind of don't want to go broke dealing with the United States government. Let me just take a step back from Donald Trump and what he's doing. I don't think they just don't support Trump. I think they're just not going to do it publicly right now because it's he's not in power and y'all are clearly trying to do everything. Like, think about if this was somebody else. They just drugged him through the courts. Drugged him through the courts. And he's still running and you still couldn't keep him off the ballot. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. But yeah, like a lot of celebrities, they probably got paused with this. Like, wait a minute. Like, Biden is they kind of going in and trying to get Trump. Like, I don't want to have to spend like to $100 million in legal fees to stop dealing with them. Look what they doing to Diddy. I don't know if he did that or not. Thug life. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, you don't know what they can do to you. Like, so the best thing to do if you're a celebrity is be you know what I mean, biased and kind of just step back. You know what I mean? And then Tyvon Perkins with the $9.99, he said 2 things. Who's been running this country July because Joe been missing? 2, whose bag of Tony Yayo was that found in the White House? Just asking.
To kind of finish my point, I think when history looks back on this man, he will truly go down as one of the greatest presidents this country's ever had. He put so much.
I think he will go down as one of the greatest presidents that this country had. I think he will.
On the line. Look, he's lost zeros off the back of his net worth. He's the only president to donate his salary every quarter. He came out of the White House with less money than he went in. And he does it because he loves this country, and he really does want to see us successful. We are the superpower of the world. That is such a huge deal.
Shout out to her. But then also, like, look at Usher Raymond, right? The singer. He literally went on The View and said he doesn't get that involved in politics, right? Publicly. And then we turn around and he's at Kamala Harris's rally giving a speech, singing, "We shall overcome." Like, out of nowhere. You don't think he looking at Diddy like, they probably called him like, "Hey, Usher, you better get it. You better thank our government for not making you like Diddy. Get her at the rally. Get on the podium. Yes, ma'am. We shall," like, bruh, you don't know the power that they got. And if I was y'all, everybody want to call Trump racist, but I think this is a form of racism. You got all these, like Taylor Swift supports Kamala Harris. Why isn't she on the podium? Why is it all these black artists on the podium? Lizzo, Usher, Quavo, Meg Thee Stallion. Why is that? Why is Michelle Obama giving speeches talking about, like, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, stop playing with me. Why is Michelle Obama giving speeches talking about every white person's got an escalator and, you know what I mean, a silver spoon in their mouth? I don't know about y'all, but when I go to work, white people be working too. Asian people be working too. Filipino people be working too. I'm sure they probably looking like, where our escalator at? We don't want to go to work. They're making this a race issue. But they want to say Trump is the one that's racist. And he look like he letting out all the blacks that's been wrongfully convicted. But y'all will never talk about Kamala Harris donating money, or I'm sorry, having a fundraiser for the people who be the Black Lives Matter movement that got arrested, then got out and committed insane crimes. But y'all won't talk about that, and the link is still open for donations. It's like, it's ridiculous, bro. It's so much they are not talking about. It is insane. But shout out to her.
Things are going the wrong way in a lot of different aspects. And I think one of the scariest things to him right now is nuclear war. You know, he talks about it all the time, that it is a real possibility right now. You have Russia,
the biggest
you have Iran, you have a lot of bad actors out there who are chomping at the bit. They saw the way we exited from Afghanistan. They see the weakness right now in this White House. And, you know, you want a strong president because you want peace through strength. And that's what we had. He was the only president in 82 years.
Shout out. We got 200 subscribers. We on the road to 100,000. You know what I mean? I appreciate all of y'all for y'all support. Hit the like button if y'all can. The views is going up. You know what I mean? People tired of like the same news. They want different perspectives up in here. And I got to stop the video every once in a while to give a little bit of commentary because this is a reaction. If you don't, they strip the video. You know what I mean? So that's why sometimes I stop and I talk and I give my opinions on what's going on.
Not to have a new war under his leadership.
Now what you just said just now about the nuclear war is something I agree with. I feel like
saw the way we exited from Afghanistan. They see the weakness right now in this White House. And, you know, you want a strong president because you want peace through strength. And that's what we had. He was the only president in 82 years not to have a new war under his leadership.
Now what you just said just now about the nuclear war is something
That's crazy. Yo, she was probably in the Situation Room back in the day.
agree with. I feel like
hey, truly, we haven't gotten to 100,000 subscribers yet. We moving up there, 89,456. We had 67,000 about 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So we moving up there. But shout out to everybody that's been supporting.
Too much casual conversation about nuclear war from a lot of different world leaders. I don't think we're discussing it enough.
Yeah,
that I agree with you.
It's terrifying, and you know, there are a lot of people out there right now who aren't even thinking about this. But imagine the United States gets into World War III. And we indeed would be sucked right into it. The people, our young men and women in this country are going to be sent overseas, and it is going to be horrific. And on top of that, it won't be like any war we have ever seen ever in the history of the world, because nuclear is absolutely terrifying. It would destroy the world.
It's going to last an hour.
Yeah.
It would be gone.
Yeah. No, it's very scary. And, you know, people gave him so. You remember before when he was running in 2016, they were like, we can't give this guy the nuclear codes.
I agree with that, though.
They were saying that.
Even down to this point.
He was the only person, Charlamagne, not to get us into a new war. He was the one who got us.
Yeah, exactly. And
the Abraham Accords, peace agreements that people said were impossible in the Middle East.
Smoking this interview, bro.
It'll last an hour.
Yeah.
It would be gone.
Yeah. No, it's very scary. And, you know, people gave him so. You remember before when he was running in 2016, they were like, we can't give this guy the nuclear codes.
I agree with that, though.
They were saying that.
Even down to this point.
He was the only person, Charlamagne, not to get us into a new war. He was the one who got us the Abraham Accords, peace agreements that people said were impossible in the Middle East. So why is that? Why are you concerned about Donald Trump with the nuclear?
Did you see what he did on January 6th?
What did he do on January?
He got a little bit upset and used his words.
What words did he say, though?
The words that you said earlier.
Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
And then what happened after that?
So how is
peacefully and patriotic make your voices heard? And then what happened after that? They trying to get another Kamala Harris interview. Maybe they're trying to get Tim Walz up there now. Maybe that's what's going on.
How were his words actually contributing to that?
Because I think that for me, him being able to just push a button, hypothetically speaking, it's a little bit scary because we've seen he gets a little bit erratic when he wants to.
But he's been in office.
Nothing happened for 4 years.
Thank you.
White House.
Shout out to these dudes. What their name is? Cartier family. He said these must be the dumbest mother. He's already been president for 4 years. Like, he did it. There were no wars. I think other other, you know, like Putin and people like that, I think they kind of, it's a good healthy fear for them because they were in line, right? And we didn't have like the Ukraine war going on. And we weren't just like spending all of our money helping allies. He made other people come to the table and spend money as well. Now you got Iran with $500 billion more dollars of excess money that they could use for whatever they want because of Biden-Harris. What are you not understanding, Charlamagne? And that lady right there with the weave, she is out of pocket. She don't know what she talking about.
We had a peaceful world. We had a stable world. We had world leaders who were coming to the table to talk about issues like Kim Jong-un of North Korea, by the way. You know, Obama, when he left the White House, told my father-in-law, he said, the biggest problem you're going to have is North Korea. It is going to be your biggest challenge. It's going to be the hardest thing you're going to have to deal with. And so Donald Trump said, all right, I'm going to try to see what we can do here because we want to have a denuclearized Korean Peninsula. We do not want North Korea with a nuclear weapon. That is detrimental. I mean, talk about nuclear war. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? Talk about a loose cannon, Kim Jong-un, really? And so he started trying to make contact with him, and he was the first president to walk across the DMZ and shake hands with the leader of North Korea to have conversations about getting rid of a possible nuclear weapon.
Yeah, that was like really surprising when that happened. I was like, wow, that's really like diplomacy. Like that was fire when he did that. I'm gonna like this video. I'm about to like this video. Double tap the screen if y'all can.
North Korea. That is great for the world. Their world leaders did not even try it with Donald Trump because they knew he meant business.
Yeah. They knew what it was. Thug life. You play around if you want to, Putin, and it's going down. This is the United States of America. One of the most powerful country out here. Play if you wanna. That's what it is.
Line in the sand. He meant it.
Yeah.
And when he drew the line in the sand, I'm gonna let her say this. Shout out to her. She cooked this interview. Charlamagne didn't know what to do.
Across the DMZ and shake hands with the leader of North Korea to have conversations about getting rid of a possible nuclear weapon with North Korea. That is great for the world. The world leaders did not even try it with Donald Trump because they knew he meant business. When he drew a line in the sand, he meant it. And the proof is in the pudding. So, you can say, oh, well, we're worried about this. You had 4 years. You had no new wars. You had peace agreements instead of wars breaking out.
First time in 82 years.
Look at it right now. It is a hornet's nest, and it is very scary, the trajectory from here to what could happen if you don't have the right leadership in the White House.
But it wasn't a peaceful transfer of power, and he did lead an insurrection.
Stop.
And I know you keep saying anything about the peaceful patriotic part, but
he offered National Guard troops to Nancy Pelosi. She didn't want to take it.
Thanks.
Look, here's what I
can
tell you.
He also said we fight
like... Shout out to him with the $5 donation. He said, whining about nuclear war, but Trump just said he threatened a Moscow strike to Putin over the Ukraine. More soldiers died under Trump than Biden. And then big boy Black Jack with the $4.99. He said, what gets under my skin is the disingenuous remarks from fellow Black folks in media.
And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
And if you don't fight like hell,
Charlamagne,
you're not going to have a country anymore.
Every politician, when you go out on the stump,
even after he got shot at, which was terrible, first thing he did when he stood up was say, fight who?
He wants to keep fighting for this country. And this is my father-in-law. I know things
Look
get...
at him like, I tried Democrats. I tried. She's smoking me right now. I tried.
Get really heated when it comes to Donald Trump. People have very strong...
I have no emotion with it.
People have very strong feelings about this man.
Yes, you
But, gosh, guys, I can tell you, he is not doing this for any other reason than that he knows he can do the job necessary.
Our narcissism.
He wants to save this country.
I always say there's two reasons people run for office. They're either extreme narcissists or they are actual civil servants.
Well...
Hold on. Didn't we just see... Didn't we just see Donald Trump at McDonald's helping people?
Imagine having a great life. Imagine giving it all up. Imagine knowing that
I see why Candace Owens changed her number, so you can't contact her.
Very people who were applauding you, who invited you to all the fancy events, who were some of your best friends, knowing... We just talked about this.
Whoopee.
They're going to turn their back on you. Imagine going through it one time and then saying, you know what? I got to come back and do it again because my work is not done here. And I really believe I can do great things for this country.
Or you've gotten indicted so many times, that's your way to stay out of prison.
And you believe those are all
he can get with the lawyer and fight that all day.
I don't know if they're legitimate or not, but he had...
I cannot stand this mother...
charges. I mean, that's up for the courts to decide.
He started running before the charges came.
I mean, that's for the courts to decide. I don't, it's not my place to say.
We all know that if his name was not Donald Trump, none of that would have ever seen the light of day.
Hey, she did really, really good.
She smoked this interview, y'all. And he keeps bringing up the charges. Let me show you guys something because this guy actually was covering the case in its entirety, right? But he ended up doing, I think, a TikTok kind of giving a brief summary of what was going on. So they found out that the lawyers, when they went in front of the appeals courts, the appellate courts, they were worried that they were going to get sanctioned because the judge didn't believe that they had sufficient evidence to have brought any of this stuff to Trump, which I think is very, very interesting and telling. I don't know, but why were they so worried about being sanctioned if they were so right? You know what I mean? Let me see. It's coming up, y'all. It's coming up, y'all. Here we go. Man, I'm quick with it.
Case went before the appellate court this week, and by the time it was over, the closing arguments of the Democrat lawyers was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So look, many people aren't aware that the Trump fraud case went before the appeals court this week. And if you don't know how an appeals court works, there are 5 judges that sit in judgment for these cases. And they basically let the prosecution and the defense both lay out their cases. And their job is to consider whether or not the case was worth hearing in the first place. And it went so badly for the Democrat lawyers that by the end of it, their closing arguments was just them begging to not get sanctioned. So they argued a ton of different things throughout this case. But the biggest thing was the judges kept interrupting them. They kept saying, hold on. Can you find me one other time in history where the person who took the loan was able to call the bank that they took the loan from, and then that bank showed up and said, we weren't defrauded? And the lawyers spent like 2 hours trying to find one little instance where it happened. But then the judges said, okay, let's try something else. They said, hey, have you ever prosecuted someone for lying about the value of a property when it resulted in the entire loan being paid back with interest? And again, they gave them like 2 hours to try to explain their case, and they still couldn't produce a single case where that had happened. And then the judges said, hey, you know what? We'll give you another shot. They said, have you ever seen an attorney general prosecute a case where there was no damage to the public, there was no damage to the person you said was defrauded, and there was no actual malice committed by the person who took the loan? And then they took another like 6 hours on that one. And by the end of it, the judges were like, so you don't have any instance of that happening? And then by the time they were done, the judges were like, I don't even know if this is a case that should have been brought. And they said, look, y'all might need to be sanctioned for bringing this case in a malicious manner.
The things that Charlamagne will not discuss is interesting. Lefties
now
are losing
it's time
it.
for Lefties are losing it. And let's start Lefties with a man who was once considered cool and at top of his game. No more. Trump derangement syndrome has broken Robert De Niro's brain, and he seems determined to continue to embarrass himself campaigning for the Democrats. Exactly who is this convincing?
Them? No. But in Declare, we...
Yeah, she got different licenses, so I can't, like, I don't think I can play this. Let me see.
Yo, fam. What?
Yeah, she got licenses. I can't do that.
Contact with your family members, loved ones, and he's just found another reason to do that.
Should you cut off contact with family members just because they are voting for Donald Trump? Yes. If so far they have not been able or willing to listen to compassion, to listen to kindness, to listen to you, or even to do their own research and discover that hatred's not the answer, that love and kindness is the answer, if they are unwilling...
Hey, Tobias Cornett, that's why I'm trying to get 100,000 subscribers so I can like play a lot more stuff.
To change, they must experience consequences.
Ooh, it's terrifying. They must face consequences for what? Wanting a strong economy, secure borders, safe cities, for wanting men out of women's sports and women's spaces. Let's see what else old mate Jeffrey has to say. I'm a little scared.
And you should not withhold those consequences from them. The consequence in this case would be they don't get your beautiful, loving, wonderful presence in their lives. It's over. And they are gone.
That's the modern left for you folks, mad as cut snakes and somehow fooling themselves into thinking they are tolerant and inclusive. Now, another celebrity bought in to push the Kamala bandwagon is pop star Billie Eilish. She stars in this cringy little video with Mr. Kamala, Doug Knock 'em out, Ermoff, and his daughter, who I'm told is a
Why do these celebrities feel like they need to? I don't know.
model, and there's also some other dude in the video I've never seen before.
Hey everyone, second gentleman here. We've got to all get out there.
Second gentleman. Lefties are losing it, y'all.
And make sure you're registered and make sure you're voting early for my wife and Kamala Harris for President of the United States.
You can go to iwillvote.com to check your polling place.
And make sure to vote early, like I will.
You're voting early and vote for
Kamala.
And here is another celebrity endorsement, this time from Lizzo.
President, hey! Oh my God, no.
Oh, you are so wonderful. Thank you.
When was the last time Lizzo had a hit? You know, I thought it was funny that she was flying into Detroit. Was it, she's flying into Michigan. And she said that, so it ain't good enough for her to live there, but she could fly into it. Interesting. And she said at the rally that Kamala is going to make every place like Detroit, Michigan. I don't want to live there. I don't want to live nothing like that. Like y'all, like shout out to them. I don't want to. Hey, I like my property value in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't want to move. I don't want to move to. I don't want to have this place looking like Detroit. I don't.
Everything that you're doing, you're fighting for democracy for this country. I know it's hard, but you're so close. You're almost there.
We are. And you are a part of it. And I thank you for that.
Let's win this.
We will, sister.
Okay?
Go on.
And listen here as pop star Lizzo says that voting for the Democrats would turn America into Detroit, and that's a good thing.
I'm so proud to be from this city. You know, they say if Kamala wins,
She's so proud she doesn't live there.
then the whole country will be like Detroit. Okay? Proud like Detroit. Resilient like Detroit.
Yes, let's have the crime through the roof, have the decay, the destruction that you see in Detroit, the fact that so many are fleeing the joint. Yeah, really, do we want to turn America into that? And
get her, Rita!
One more celebrity endorsement before we get some AOC craziness. Here is Usher, who only a few weeks ago declined to do any sort of political messaging, any sort of political endorsement, but now here he is.
I'm supporting Vice President Harris because she fights for everyone's rights, for freedom. And it doesn't matter where you're from. She has a vision for our country that includes everyone. We've lived through some very unfortunate realities of our past.
I know,
However, we must learn from
Somebody said, what the heck is a second gentleman? Yo, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, bro.
Moments and understand that
He said Rita's my true love. Hey, back up, bro. I got Rita. Yeah, you can pick somebody else. I got Rita, bro.
Voice that we have makes the difference that we want to see. We have to strive to not allow our past to define our future.
Did he say that? Did he really say that? Now Donald Trump's genius move to do some work experience at McDonald's was hugely successful. Normal folk liked it and thought it was funny. Of course, he's mocking Kamala Harris for pretending she wants work there. No evidence of that has been found so far. But the left are having an almighty meltdown about Trump's MACA appearance, and AOC has decided he was mocking those who work at McDonald's. She's always so cluelessly wrong about everything and hysterical.
Donald Trump putting on a little McDonald's costume because he thinks that's what people do. They're not trying to empathize with us. They are making fun of us. They are making fun of us. Donald Trump thinks that people who work at McDonald's are a joke.
And here is the woman herself, Kamala Harris, earlier today. And yes, we got another word salad about aspirations, dreams, hopes.
We have to tap into and rejoice, frankly, in the spirit of who we are as Americans. And we are an ambitious people. We have aspirations. We have dreams. We are optimistic by nature. And we, I think, value certain qualities in our leaders.
Now, Tim Walz was on The View today, and it was precisely what you'd expect, a softball, boring, and at times unhinged affair. I watched it, so you don't have to. You're welcome. Here are 3 highlights. Let's start with Whoopi Goldberg, proving to the world that she doesn't understand election laws, and she's also here lashing out at Elon Musk.
And this, people keep trying to buy the election.
Yeah.
Billionaire Elon Musk has gone all in for you-know-who, and now he's giving out $1 million a day to people who sign his super PAC's petition. What? Now, I thought that was against the law, but apparently they've found some new loop stuff that allow this to go. I thought you couldn't do.
How is that like, is that against the law? I don't think that's against the law.
This, what's happening?
Well, I think that's what you do when you have no plan for the public, when you have no economic plan that's going to benefit the middle class, when you have no plan to protect reproductive rights, when you have no plan to address climate change.
What are you talking, like, what do you mean, Tim Walz? You have never said anything about a plan. What do you mean, like, reproductive rights? Like, you can go to what, like, a state that does what you want to happen, starts with an A, you can go to a state that does that. He's trying to get the federal government away from it and have the states control that. He didn't outlaw it. What plan did Tim Walz have? I know what plan he had. His plan was to lie to us and tell us he went to Asia when he didn't. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, Thug Life. We're trying to get this channel to 100,000 subscribers so more people can see people like me talking that got differences of opinion than what is being pushed out to the masses. We are not all Charlamagne the Gods. Man, I seen that debate with him and JD Vance. He bombed that, didn't he? They asked him about, oh yeah, you said you were in Asia at that, at a specific time, but things are not really adding up. The records indicate that you were not in Asia. And what did he say? Oh, well, I'm a knucklehead sometimes. I just get overzealous. What policies did you mention during that debate that you guys were trying to do?
Change and produce American energy, you go to these type of tactics. It's all about
There's a concept on the plan. Yeah. Aren't these tactics against the law, though? Aren't you?
Well, I'll let the lawyers decide.
Elon has found some.
Chill, Rita. Hey, when Rita gets caught off guard and she laughs, bruh, you really done messed up. Let's listen to Rita real quick.
The law, though, aren't you?
Well, I'll let the lawyers decide.
Elon has found some new loop stuff. Even someone as dense as Tim Walz knows that's not against the law, but he doesn't say it there, does he? Of course, it's not against the law to incentivize people to sign a petition. It's a petition, not a ballot. And given the Democrats have a big problem with male voters, why would they send Walz to a program watched by no men and no sane women either, really? At least they gave him a present.
So we've got The View and a dad in plaid.
That's the single greatest thing I've ever got.
So that's
Bro, he really gonna wear that?
To freshen up that wardrobe a little.
They are trying to emasculate the man, man. They want the man behind the woman, vice president. They want the first man, and like, bro, this is crazy what they doing, man. You said Rita's growing on Theory 23. Hey, Rita is my girl, bro. When I see her, I click immediately. We're going to get to the other stuff, but when I see her, I click immediately.
If you win, will you wear it back and come back and visit us? When you win, will you wear it back and come back?
But that's what I was going to say. You know I'm wearing it.
When he wins, like, what, is he running for president? Or I thought he was just like the vice president. Like, what is he about to, like, what?
And finally, here is Tim Walz claiming that he is a better shot than Republicans.
Shout out to them. Let's get to this real quick.
Like, let's
let like homeboy break down a lot of the, because there's a lot of new people in here. I'm seeing like this video got like 70,000 views. So he got 1 million views on this video. It dropped a month ago. Some people have seen this, some people haven't. We're going to run through this because he's going to debunk a lot of what people have been saying about Trump. It's a lot of lies.
In this video, we're going to be debunking the most common lies that are told about Donald Trump, because instead of the media telling you the lies that Donald Trump is making, the media is making the lies about Donald Trump.
Hey,
and again,
Lisa Wheeler said, I wear plaid because I'm a country girl farming.
This isn't to say that he's never lied before, but it just goes back to how the media is coming up with lies about him instead of just telling the people what he's actually saying and giving the proper context. If you like this kind of content, commentary, reaction, and you like getting to the truth of the matter,
he about to debunk everything. Shout out to Sugar Black. He about to debunk everything.
Be sure to subscribe. It helps the channel grow a ton. Without further ado, let's dive right into this. Find people on both sides.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
This is something that they didn't fact check, despite fact checking Trump, which I'm all for. If you're going to fact check, that's fine. I'm all for the truth, but at least be consistent. Because according to a common fact checking site, Snopes, no, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. That's the actual truth. Joe Biden, Kamala, everybody keeps regurgitating this one headline. He said there are fine people on both sides. There is far more context to what he said. His sentence was cut off, and the truth was just never out there. So for those of you who have never seen the actual footage, let's hear what he actually said.
Changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis or the white supremacists, white nationalists. They should be condemned completely. That is what
Shout out to Sean Mayberry with a $5 donation. He said this dude's kind of zesty. I mean, regardless of what you think about that, he's fact checking and breaking down a lot of things, bro.
Said in that same clip, but like if I let it keep playing.
You had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats.
He called it out for what it is. He said there were very bad people on the right that need to be condemned. The white nationalists and the Klansmen, all them people, he said that's stupid, that needs to be condemned. And he also said the Antifa and the people dressed in all black, they need to be condemned too. There were fine people on the right side that just wanted to maintain our nation's history and have these statues, and it's whatever. There were fine people on the left who said, I want this statue down, it's hurtful to my ancestors. Regardless, there were fine people on both sides, but it's clear with the full context. Trump never said that the Klansmen and the white nationalists were very fine people. He said they should be condemned.
But Charlamagne would be one to just take the soundbite and just run with it. And if he's unfact checked, like he's gonna have a lot of uninformed. You know, a lot of people, like, they get ready to go to work, they might listen to like Charlamagne the God, or you know what I mean, like, and they may not like have the time to fact check what he's saying, and then you letting this guy on like these airwaves just pollute the minds of people. It's literally insane.
That's the actual truth. Speaking of racism in Charlottesville, let's get right into he's racist against black people. Let's just go through some of the things.
And this video got 100,000 followers already. Shout out to y'all. We are on a drive to 100,000 subscribers. If y'all can, hit the like button, subscribe to the video. or the channel. You know what I mean? Thug life. It is what it is. I appreciate y'all.
He has said about black people.
Let's talk about
And don't be
George
afraid
Floyd.
to hit
George
that
Floyd's
super
death
chat.
was
Don't be
a
broke. Don't be
terrible
acting
thing.
broke.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question.
Yeah,
to
that was a terrible question to ask. I like that he said that.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way.
That's not racist. That's an actual fact. The way that question was framed was actually very wrong, very misleading, and it was meant to like trap him or make him look bad when in reality, every race in this nation deals with police brutality, which by the way is at a very, very low amount compared to the regular smuggler criminals out there. Are cops supposed to be protecting us? Yes, but I'm not going to sit here and act like every cop is bad and wrong. And I'm also not going to act like we're going to get rid of bad cops entirely. Bad cops are out there. It sucks, but to sit here and act like my life is in danger at the hands of white police when there are more people who get struck by lightning and die than black unarmed men get shot by the police, miss me with it. It's so misleading. It really is. And what Trump said was true. That is a horrible question to ask. Why people are harmed too. Let's keep it real. All Trump has done is keep it real. Let's go to the next clip.
Why do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. What the hell do you have to lose?
Yeah, that's kind of a fact, though. Yo, like I said before, when I heard Trump say this, I got mad. I'm like, well, hold up, bruh. But it's true. Like, look what they do. Look what the Democrats do when they get in office. Nothing. Then look at like Chicago. You got the mayor sitting there taking $83,000 from taxpayers and redecorating an office for his wife. And then when asked about it, he said, oh, well, I'm working on like trying to make sure the rivers are good. Like, bro, you can't make this up, bro. Like they literally do nothing for us. So, I mean, if he's saying, like, what do you have to lose? And then people voted for him, right? Like, when he won the election, what happened? Everybody had a better life. You know, and he was right.
Like, when we look in our inner cities, St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, the list can go on, and it's ran by all Democrats for years, and we keep complaining about our hoods and our neighborhoods and everything falling apart. What do we have to lose by trying something new? Right. That's all he was saying. I don't see the problem. What racist invites over 200 black people to hang out with him at his house? Because again, I was there. I told you, I've been about this. I've been there multiple times. I've dapped up with Trump. I've never gotten a racist and bigoted vibe. People kept telling me that he was so racist and so bigoted. So what did I do? I went to the man's house to go and meet him.
And I don't even think this dude is like Republican. So this is fire. This is pretty fire.
I got invited to some events. I met him.
Shout out to Javon Jordan Stroud with the 199 said, I love watching black people support a rich white man. Hey, I'm trying to get rich. Hey, did you know like Barack Obama is worth $70 million? Did you know that? You think Kamala Harris is, well, she ain't black. Like, you think Michelle Obama, like, do you think she like poor? Like what black person that's in politics do you think is poor? Trying to figure it out. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate you.
Didn't get a racist bone in my body. Like, honestly, it was actually a funny speech. That seems like a really bad racist to me. What racist pours money into black communities?
President Trump unveiling opportunity zones, a new policy he says will build up communities in need by giving investors
Shout out to Donna with the $5 Cash App. I appreciate you.
Breaks to invest.
Yo, Donna, that's you for real? Lord. You look like that? Donna! Thug life.
In low-income areas.
What racist works with Kim Kardashian to get black people out of jail?
It really is such an honor to be here today, so thank you.
Donna, hit that DM later. what it is.
My whole journey with criminal justice reform.
What racist meets with the founder of BET, Black Entertainment Television, to discuss racism and ways to be a better person and ally to the Black community.
I came away
Hold on real quick. Donna, for real, is that you? Donna! Hold on. Shit, it just messed me up, y'all. Because I'm looking, I'm like, because my cash apps was rolling. Shout out. But I'm like, like, man. Yo, I'm not going to show you a picture, Donna, but if that's you, woo.
From that meeting, understanding that President Trump is committed to reaching out to African Americans. And in the course of my conversation with him, we talked about
He said Trump is reaching out to African Americans.
Justice reform.
Hey, y'all leave Donna alone, bro. I'm trying to find out that information myself. Leave her alone.
Racist meets with the founder of BET, Black Entertainment Television, to discuss racism and ways to be a better person and ally to the Black community.
I came away from that meeting understanding that President Trump is committed to reaching out to African Americans. And in the course of my conversation...
Hold on, I gotta look at this again. Donna, is this you? Oh, I gotta fan myself. Yo.
With them, we talked about a number of issues, if implemented by President Trump and his administration, will demonstrate that African Americans have something to gain by establishing.
Yeah, Marcia, why is you trying to snitch on me? Why is Marcia in the chat trying to?
A common ground with President-elect Trump and his administration.
Actions speak louder than words, and all these actions Trump is doing for the Black community, I don't understand.
Even Ice Cube is saying that Trump is the only one that's willing to sit down with him with his plan.
People keep pinning him as a racist when he actually is the worst racist out there. Project 2025.
You're going to hear tonight
Marcia,
is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
Let's hear. I keep hearing about Project 2025 from everyone on the left and all these Democrats. They keep talking about this is Trump's plan, Trump's plan, Trump's plan. What does Trump have to say about it? Because the only time I've ever heard Trump speak about Project 2025 is when he's saying things like this.
Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme.
Y'all remember this video. So Amir Odom debunking the biggest lies told about Trump. When people talk about Project 2025, show them this video.
I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy.
Like, let's be real. Again, I keep saying let's be real because no one's being real. Like, he's saying he doesn't know about it. He's saying he knows some people who put it together. He knows and admits that it's very far right, the same way there's a far left. And that's that. It's not fair to pin him to something that he says he has nothing to do with. It doesn't matter if he knows some of the people who wrote it, so does Kamala. He incited violence on January 6th.
President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital.
What did Trump actually say? Again, we keep being told what he said. We keep being told he incited violence. What did Trump actually say on Jan 6th at that rally? Let's listen.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Peacefully and patriotically march down to the Capitol. The crazy people on Jan 6th, that is not patriotic. That is delusional, and that is insane, and that is crazy. He encouraged people to walk peacefully and patriotically. And you know what's crazy about that whole thing and that the whole setup where he's speaking in DC and everybody goes and walks to the Capitol? I was there, not Jan 6 exactly, but an event just like this 2 months prior at the White House. Here's my invite. I told y'all I'm gonna be talking on my Dear Amir Odom, please see your invitation to remarks by the president to be held at the White House on Saturday, October 10th, 2020. It was a rinse and repeat event. When I heard that he told people, when everyone was like harping about
Jevin with the $1.99 donation, he said he spoke at the Heritage Foundation. It's on tape.
Trump told everybody to like go to the Capitol. He always does that. He did that at the event that I was at. We all walked to the Capitol and then dispersed and went back to the hotels or went out to eat or went to the club. Except for Jan 6, you had the crazy people acting a fool. We still have more to go through, but it is very clear that the media is very elusive when it comes to telling the truth. Even when Trump got shot, you think the media in big tech would just be very clear about what happened and let everything come up and be shown, but no, we've seen that that's not the case. Google and Facebook accused of suppressing Trump attempted assassination. Let's dive right into this article. Total sources: 85, 12 leaning left, 33 leaning right, 14 on the center. So what has the center said about this? Google faced accusations of suppressing information about Donald Trump's July 13th assassination attempt by failing to show relevant search results. What did the left say about this? Google Meta debunked claims they were hiding details about Trump assassination. Sometimes the real explanation isn't political bias, but faulty products.
Wow.
Now we know
these. Hey man, Javin with the $1.99 donation, he said, Trump tweet, be there, will be wild.
People can pull levers and pick and choose what to highlight. We've seen it be done. We just saw that viral video asking Alexa about why they should vote for Kamala, and then they give a list of reasons. Then you say, give me a list of reasons why I should vote for Trump, and Alexa's silent.
Alexa, why should I vote for Trump?
I cannot provide responses that endorse any political party or its leader.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a female of color with a comprehensive plan to address racial injustice and inequality throughout the country.
We know, and we've seen.
They better have fixed that. Alexa, why should I vote for Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
They fixed it. They sneaky. And then Ham with the $5 donation, he said, doesn't matter what he said on January 6th. Why did it take 4 hours for him to send in the National Guard? Failed to protect the Capitol, his most important job.
In it for years now, this constant bias. What is the right saying?
I think you're voting for the wrong party, sir.
About it. Well, New York Post, yeah, it leans right. Woke tech giant Google censors Trump and backs Harris. Google was accused of skewing search results relating to Republican president candidate Donald Trump in favor of Dem rival Kamala Harris. And what's crazy that we've all seen this, and the left isn't even denying it. You go back to what the left is saying. Remove your tinfoil hats. Social media mishaps aren't always billionaire election stealing plots. Regardless, you're still admitting that the search results and everything was bad for Trump, but good for Kamala. It's shady, and this is one of the many reasons why I love Ground News, because it equips you with the tools to see the left, right, and center and how they're really spinning things between different headlines and stories. So if you want to get involved, be sure to click the link below or scan the QR code here on the screen. And for those of you that are international, don't figure you can go right up to this corner, hit US edition, you can toggle between international, UK, Canada, so you can always get the news that matters to you. And utilizing the unlimited access to the
Javin with the $1.99 donation said that Alexa was fake.
Vantage plan, which is the one I have now. You can use blind spot, which is my favorite feature that they have. It shows you everything that the right is talking about, but the left isn't. And on the other side, it shows you everything that the left is talking about, but the right isn't. So you can see the news from a clear slate so that you can always see the news for what it is. A quick example is right here. Biden said black jobs. When Trump said black jobs, it was a show online and in the media. Everybody got upset. Everybody's calling him racist. Okay, Biden said the same thing. Biden just said black jobs at a recent talk. The left isn't talking.
All right, so let's see, because he said that Alexa thing was fake and he donated. So let's see. All right, so Amazon says Alexa's deferring responses about voting for Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris were an error, that it was fixed. So it was fixed, bro. I thought you said it was fake. It was fixed. Can y'all see me?
I like her.
She can debate a little bit. Then we decide her.
Y'all didn't hear her on the stage. Y'all didn't hear her on the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was real and it was fixed.
Y'all ain't see her on the stage.
Variety said it.
She was on the stage right before her.
Well, I just like how she stuck to all them points.
At the RNC.
Oh, she did? She was on the stage.
I said
like that.
I said that's Laura. And she said,
like that.
hey.
I don't remember. She is like that. But she cooked. Hey, she gave him a spanking. And the fact that some people in the comments,
bro, like you're wrong, bro. Like it was an issue. This is the Guardian. It said, Alexa, now should I vote? Right-wing uproar over voice assistants pro Kamala Harris point. Amazon says the device's pro-Harris answers were due to software errors, but conservatives alleges a liberal bias. So it did happen. Like, why you just spent money and said it didn't happen? It wasn't true. It did. It happened. And D Limo with the $5 donation says, can you believe the amount of spew just in this chat because you called out my name? Do it again. Is this you, Don? Is this you? Is this really? I'm not gonna show them. Is this really you? Thug Life, Donna. Thought she gets an extra. Thug Life.
Oh, the comments is hating so bad.
Oh, you already know.
Man, what if Donna ever? If y'all need to, Donna, tell them what your social media is. Like, if y'all ever seen Donna, y'all, man, listen, man.
Just let her come here and spew lies. What is lies about? I mean, bro, like, okay, but that's the thing is, though, maybe these people are really dumb because, like, all the clips they pull up, if you put that in a different context, then you could be like, oh, I can say, oh, these people are just idiots.
Like saying fight, they think they merely mean go get a gun and go out. Nobody fight. Come on now. No, everyone knows.
Do they
Hold on.
Talking about it at all, but of course the right is. And then over here on the right, you have Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 14 people, officials say, in Gaza. Mainly the left is reporting on this, but not the right. Why? Because we know the left is mainly all for Palestine and the right is mainly for all Israel. Clear example.
Magic with the $5 donation, he said, under Trump, my dollar went a lot farther than the last 3.5 years. MAGA, 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 MAGA. I feel you, bro.
They're just going to suppress that. They're not really going to highlight that because they'll make Israel look bad and they don't want that. Again, blind spot, it's an amazing feature. Click the link below or scan the QR code, especially in this
They better not be charging me for this blind spot. Like,
politicized world that we're living in and how we've seen the media is able to mislead you. Ground news will always keep you grounded and tell you the truth.
Yeah, Javin, you need to go do your research, bro. Like, you spent $199 and you said that it didn't happen and it actually did happen. Like, Amazon admitted there was a software error, but the conservatives are saying that it was bias.
What it is, if you want to get
looked at the Guardian, bro, like
involved with the ground news.
Javin, you're the one that's gullible because he put like in the post like y'all are gullible as, but he's the one that's gullible because it's actually real. Maybe he didn't think I would look it up.
Below, especially for unlimited access to the Vantage plan, which my link and scanning the QR code on the screen will give you 40% off this month only. So be sure to do that. Again, that is the ground.
You gotta pay for it.
Ban with or without Congress.
Okay. He's going to take away abortion rights.
He and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress.
Okay, let's see what Trump had said himself. What did he say?
You wouldn't support a national ban?
No, I wouldn't support a national ban. No, I would not.
He says he will not support a national ban on abortion. He said that multiple times. Let's see his stances on exceptions, because everyone's like he's going to ban it in totality. Let's see what he has to say about that.
But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important.
He said it plain and simple. For rape, incest, and life of the mother, he's also...
Oh, man, the Democrats do not want to play that. They do not want to play that, bro. Like, that would nullify a lot of arguments, bro.
Totally fine with abortion in that sense. He's going to take away IVF.
Taking away our freedom to control our bodies
The freedom to become a mother through IVF like I did.
Okay, Michelle Obama saying that Trump wants to get rid of IVF and he doesn't like IVF. Let's see what Trump actually thinks of IVF.
For mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America.
This video, I hope you're seeing, there's more to come, but I hope you're seeing right now that there's a lot of people at play just bluntly lying in our faces and getting away with it. Like, don't tell me how to think. Don't lie to me about it.
And then FJB with the $5 donation, he said, presidents don't control National Guard, mayors do. Speaker of the House control capital policy. President can only authorize him. Shout out to you, bro.
Person, just give me the truth.
It wasn't like Nancy Pelosi in charge.
Give me what they're saying. And it is evident with this video, you can barely trust the things that they're telling you. These videos are showing clear as day. There are a lot of left-leaning people who hate Trump just to hate Trump and are not giving credit where credit's due and acknowledging when he's actually being very modest. He's homophobic.
Pete Buttigieg. Don't you think it's just great to see the fact that you've got a guy there on the stage with his husband, and it's normal? It's not even.
I think it's absolutely fine. I do.
But shout out for that comment though, the $5 donation. He said, "Presidents do not control National Guard, mayors does. Speaker of the House controls Capitol Police. President can only authorize."
As your president, I will do everything in my power.
And then Javin's in the comments saying we slow. We just found out he didn't know what he was talking about. Come on, man. Hey, Javin, you gotta admit that L, bro. You took an L. Like, we let the Guardian. Like, come on, bro.
To protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
So far, I don't know how this is homophobic. Apparently, we're going to get into it. But in practice, the Trump administration has pursued an anti-LGBTQ agenda. Let's hear what he's critiqued.
Department of Justice sent a memo to the Supreme Court. Title VII, which is a civil rights law protecting against discrimination on the basis of sex, does not extend to transgender workers.
Where are the gay people at? This has nothing to do with gay people. It goes back to the LGB versus the TQ+. I've talked about this in my other pieces of content. At the end of the day, like, I can't change the fact that I'm gay. I can't change the fact that I'm black. But I'm being told you can change your gender on the fly. Men can be women and women can be men. You know, I'm being told these things.
Michael Jackson changed. Hey, sometimes I was looking at Michael Jackson. I'm like, well, he was black before. Like, I didn't, like, you can change, bro. Like, you.
And so, of course, like, if you could just switch it back, then boom. Like, you know what I mean? It's very dicey. So it makes sense why gender identity discrimination isn't really constituted as sexual discrimination. And especially when it comes to gay people, my friends just got married at Mar-a-Lago. Literally, Trump had a gay wedding at his house this year.
His house is crazy looking.
Seems like a very horrible racist person and a very horrible homophobic person if he's always constantly surrounding himself with multiple different races and multiple different sexualities. Again, actions speak louder.
His wife not even white, I don't think.
Louder than words. And as a gay man in this country, I am unfazed by President Trump. He's racist against Mexicans.
Bro, I identify as the IRS, bro. Like, all y'all gotta pay me, bro. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the super chat. I'm IRS. Like, hit the super chat now. That's what I identify. Hit the super chat. Donna, hit the DMs. Hit the DMs.
Been widely criticized, Donald, as you know, for offending immigrants in your announcement speech. I want to just play again exactly what you said in that speech. Here you are.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
Charlamagne the God wouldn't say that. So they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. He's like, oh, well, he's making everybody look Charlamagne, bro. That's why I had to watch this, bro. So y'all can hear all of this through Trump's own, like.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
Now, you've tried to clarify this statement in recent days, Donald, but I guess
I haven't seen her, the fake news lady. I haven't seen her in a while. Have y'all seen her in a minute?
the question comes down to this. Do you regret saying that specifically about rapists, or do you stand by it?
No, not at all. Of course, it's not only Mexico. If you let that run a little...
They're saying he's racist. That's why. Like, come on. Y'all got to chill with this, bro. And he had, like, a black girlfriend before.
Bit longer, it talks about people coming from all over. They're coming from all over. They'll soon be coming, and probably already have, be coming from all over the world. You're probably going to have people, you're probably going to have terrorists coming from the Middle East. Somebody said, oh, we don't have terrorists. They don't even know, because they don't know who's coming.
You can watch my video. I did a video on the border wall. There are Chinese people, Russian people, and Indian people flying to South America and coming up through Mexico through the border because it's that easy to break through. When watching that clip, it is clear Trump is not talking about the Mexican race. They're all rapists and disgusting and whatever it may be. He wasn't talking about that. He's talking about the people that are sneaking through the border. And speaking of the border, let's see what they have to think about it.
More than 80 migrants with previous criminal convictions were caught trying to cross into the United States illegally in the El Paso sector. According to Border Patrol, a pair of migrants from El Salvador who had ties to gangs were wanted for homicide. Another migrant who was also wanted for murder was sent back to Mexico. CBP says that many of the migrants are aggravated felons, sex offenders, child predators, drug traffickers, and drunk.
Donna said, love your work. Keep it up. Thank you, Thank you, Donna. Thug life. Thank you, Donna. Woo. Donna. Shout out to Donna.
Drivers.
So where did Trump lie in his statement? Because it's apparent at the southern border, there are criminals coming through Mexico that are murderers and rapists and serial crime offenders. The list goes on. Exactly what Trump said. So instead of the media telling you that Trump says all Mexicans are rapists and they're all so bad, he's literally talking about what's actually happening at the border. And that video was so old, everything he said had just come true even more. It is an issue that we're dealing with at our southern border, but everyone keeps talking about race instead of focusing on what's actually going down. Y'all, we are being lied to about this man.
This is crazy.
Downplayed COVID. I want y'all to look at this real quick.
I can't YouTube be bugging with that.
Portion of black men. So for Barack Obama,
hold on, what's this? Oh yeah, he used to be like on the budget committee in Congress. Let's see what he got to say. Republican Donald shared strong words over Obama remarks.
See that clip, it just pisses me off even more. First of all, it's not about Kamala Harris being a woman. It's about the fact that Kamala Harris has not really done anything in particular for any American, let alone black men. What has she done the last 1,400 days as vice president to warrant black men or any other?
Breaking it down to 1,400 days. Like now I'm like, because when somebody say 4 years, like you don't really quantify, like it doesn't quantify like how much time that is. When he said 1,400 days, like, girl, you ain't do nothing for us in 1,400 days. This is wild. You or Biden, like y'all ain't do nothing.
A subgroup in our country voting and supporting her. She's done nothing. To the contrary, she's the deciding vote that caused massive inflation that's hurt so many families in our country. She was the border czar. She did nothing to...
Larry Summers said that vote that she was going to cast would cause mass inflation. And he worked under the Clinton administration, I think. So very, very interesting.
Secure the southern border. But now that she's losing in this presidential election, now she wants to run out with an agenda specifically for black men. It is phony. It is the same pandering that citizens are furious with politicians about. We already know what her record is. We know what her agenda is because, like Joe Biden said a couple days ago, that she has been lockstep with every major decision. She was on The View. She's the one that said that she wouldn't change anything from what Joe Biden has done.
U.S. economic conditions among black registered voters. Excellent, good, 22%, fair, poor, 78%.
So now that we know what she stands for and what she's about, it is being rejected by Americans across the country, including a portion of black men. So for Barack Obama and Kamala Harris to now be upset because black men are looking at their economic futures, their economic prospects, as opposed to just being loyal to the Democrat Party, and they don't want to follow suit, now they're going to be chastised. This is what's wrong with politics. Frankly, this is what's wrong with the Democrat Party. And
Right. So I seen Candace Owens is interviewing Judge Joe Brown. Yo, we got to see this, man. Shout out to my girl, Candace Owens. I don't know her, but I rock with her content. I think she's one of the most fire podcasters out here. She needs more respect. She ended up breaking the Kamala Harris family tree story. You know what I mean? They were trying to make us think that she was black. She ended up finding out Miss Barrow, Kamala Harris's grandmother, is actually a white lady. Which, you know, you white, you black, you Indian, it is what it is. It doesn't matter, right? But she ended up finding out she's a white lady. And then she actually passed away before Kamala Harris was even born. They've got pictures of Kamala Harris with a supposed grandmother, but turns out that lady was the help of the house and not her grandmother. We don't know nothing about this lady, Kamala Harris. She went to high school in Canada, started out going to college in Canada in her formative years, but now she is in the United States running to be the president, and we don't know nothing about her. The only thing I know about her is she used to be trying to date Montel Williams from the Montel Williams show. Hold on. See what I'm saying? We don't know this lady.
Defendant is Kamala Harris. The case before the judge is that she says she's black and I say she is not. And so it is an honor for me to host Judge Joe Brown, who has been making the rounds.
Hey, Donna, you and Candace Owens, like y'all kind of, y'all up there. Y'all up there, Donna. Shout out to Tish May 83 says, speaking facts. Shout out Hunter and Patty said, we love Candace. She's fired.
Because he vaguely remembers a conversation, not vaguely, he very much remembers a conversation that he had with her daddy. And the things that Kamala is saying today don't really match what Kamala's father, Donald Harris, told Judge Joe Brown. Welcome to Candace.
Well, the judge. Yeah, somebody said that she photoshopped her passed away grandmother, which is, it wasn't even her grandmother, it was like the help of the house. Like the story that Candace Owens put together, like the multi-part series on her show, it's got like over 1 million views for like a lot of the episodes. It's like you're watching a scary movie. Like she put it together so well. It's like irrefutable. And then she ended up having a Jamaican lady like detail, like I guess the lady was just talking to like her friend about Kamala Harris's grandmother, Miss Barrow, and they were just throwing out so many details, bro. Like this lady like knew everything about her, and she described her as a white lady. She did not say she was black at all. She said she was really fair skinned, and it, you know, she was a white lady.
Just in the house, dear. So here I am. Anyway, I came right down the road from Memphis, not too far.
So you have been all over the news. Actually, right now, you probably are not on Twitter, but you have.
Bro, I could show you before we get to this. Shout out to Zendaya. I ended up posting something to her. It got like 16 million views. Shout out to her. Zendaya, I didn't know you was that. Man, she popular, bro. Hold on. Where is it? I can't find it. I can't find it right now.
There's a clip of you that's gone absolutely viral.
Well, I am on Twitter, X.
Oh, yeah, you're on X. Okay, good.
Yeah, you can get me at Judge Joe Brown TV.
Okay, so did you know that you were going viral this morning?
No, I didn't, but it wouldn't be the first time. And then they try to knock.
Yeah, I did a blog on him. Like what was it, like 7 hours ago or something like that. It did pretty good views, bro. You've been going viral.
Head down.
This one's got 137,000 views.
Kwame Brown and I did a thing 2 or 3 years back, and we got up to 9.8 million views, which is definitely viral. But then we started knowing that the views started dropping, and then if you look at it now, it's like 800,000. I guess they didn't want anybody to look at 9.8 million. You want to see what's going on. Well, that's not anything compared to what Trump and Musk get on X.
Yeah, well, the numbers that you're pulling right now, I would say, are equivalent to Trump and Musk, particularly a clip of you that's on stage. So I'm going to tell you what I saw, and I've actually played clips of you.
I want to see what he said. He was wilding. He was wilding, y'all. Let me show you what he said. Hold on.
I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings, but we got a witch running for president. That woman is the worst kind of sleaze you can ever think of. I was in California when it was going down. And I used to represent 40 years ago a whole chunk of pimps and hoes in Memphis. And I know a hoe when I see one.
All right, Judge Joe Brown.
When I see a hoe, I know she got a pimp.
Let's see if Candace Owens got a clip. Let's let her play hers.
You on my show as well. The thing that I love about judges is you guys you tend to have a really good memory and a great record with the truth. And I can say, after speaking with you leading up to this, you don't forget a thing. You do not.
Hit the super chat. Stop acting like a Democrat. Hit the super chat. Thug life. Hit the like. Hit the like button. Subscribe. All of that. Thug life. Stop playing with me, bro. Before I call you.
What's wrong?
Daddy told me to do that.
What?
Daddy told me to do crack.
He what?
He told me to do crack.
Are you serious? Daddy!
Sometimes you want to forget some things. You say, oh, no, did I do that back when? But then sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and you clearly remember a lot, and you were running the exact same circles as Kamala Harris. You're out in California. So can you explain to us how you met her father, just how that came about?
What was going
Y'all
on?
acting like Democrats in here. Like, yeah. Hit the super chat. What is y'all doing? I told y'all I identify as the IRS. Hit the super chat now. Stop playing with me. Thug life. Audi RU55 with the 199. Like, I appreciate that. Shout out to Colin Radley with the 199. He said, I know an H word when I see one. Shout out to Colin Radley.
This is a convoluted story. Magic Johnson's mother, a fine woman, and one of her buddies, who was the oldest sister of a personal friend of mine, would always involve me in these projects with the islands, right? So they got me down
He
there.
got the old 1970s leather on, like, but she looked like, we gonna let her finish. Look how clean she is. This is crazy, bro. She is clean. I mean, we be seeing clean people. She is mad clean, bro. Shout out to Tisha May 83 with the 199. Appreciate you.
And I was supposed to participate in the youth program in Jamaica, so I was the guest of the Prime Minister and the Governor General.
And who was that at the time?
Well, let's not get into that because there's some complications with that. And my ex and I, we were attendees at this dinner, so we got introduced to everybody's favorite Hindu professor. And he was sitting next to...
Yeah, you know how much, because Judge Joe Brown, he went through a divorce. Guess how much he got to pay every month? So it said Brown received a Tennessee home, Porsche 911, Range Rover, Land Rover, and Jeep, but must pay his wife, Deborah, $2,200 a month in spousal support. She also will receive a Lance Armstrong spin bike, stair climber, and the Bowflex in the divorce settlement. $2,200 a month. So he basically just paying her mortgage wherever she moves to. As long as she don't get married again, like she's never gonna get married again, bro.
Ex-wife or wife at the time.
He be going in on his ex-wife though. He be throwing shots on the what was it? Yesterday we was watching the Art of Dialogue that had an interview with him. They following me. Shout out to them. I'm following them. And he was like throwing like little jabs at his ex-wife and then his kid, because I guess he also had to pay like a crap ton of money in child support
for a while. So we all had this back and forth questioning thing at the table. So it was quite interesting. And I recalled running to him back in the 60s. He and his wife were grad students up in the Bay Area, and I was an undergrad at UCLA. So there was a back and forth between Los Angeles, man, where you go crazy, and then go to the asylum up in the Bay Area. So it was interesting what was going on back then.
So how was his demeanor when you guys are at this dinner and you're in Jamaica? What do you think about him?
He's reserved.
Reserved. Okay.
Dignified, laid back.
Look, Candace Owens, she got 2.78 million. She got 59,000 likes. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But still involved and my understanding is that he's been involved in politics actually for a long time, has had an interest in politics his entire life.
Yes, quite. I'd call him a Marxist.
A Marxist. And that is exactly what I've heard from a family member of his, that he, from the time he was very young, was always involved in Marxist meetings and Marxist groups, kind of a dyed-in-the-wool commie. And I don't think that's something that he's ashamed of, by the way. I think he wrote about in the Jamaican Global Online how he was sort of raised up on the politics via who he purports to be his grandmother, Christiana Brown. But it's interesting that you said you were introduced to a Hindu professor.
Mm-hmm.
What made you think that he was Hindu?
That's the introduction.
That was the introduction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And your wife?
What is she?
No, did she get to talk to him about that?
She talked to him, and it was interesting because at that time there was no reason to put him with anybody special until you started putting all of it together. He was a Marxist, and when he was up in the Bay Area, a lot of things were going on up there. That was Liberty Park up there, where in 1964, a lot of what was going on that led to the
Bro, no, let's talk crazy about Kamala Harris, bro. And then so somebody said, Audi said, Javin is a real R word black man. Like, what? Yeah, he thought we were wrong, and he got caught being wrong with a whole bunch of
to
stuff.
Be fearful of our lives, meaning they, the detectives. So
what they were doing out.
I don't care about your life story, bro. Like, what are you about to say about Kamala Harris?
Voting group that has emotive needs and cravings to belong, and here you give them an opportunity to identify with somebody who has absolutely no connections with them. Even if it was black, she's not somebody who has a prior generation in America. She is the immigrant herself because her parents were not immigrants. She is the immigrant. And by a technical call, she's qualified to run for president. See, the Constitution defines citizenship in two places. One, how to be a citizen, and two, qualifications for being president or vice president. So technically, you can be a citizen, but you can't be president, like, say, Cruz down in Texas. He ran, but nobody brought it up. He was born in Canada, so he was not born on American soil. But see, Kamala was born in the same hospital my ex-wife was born in when my now late mother-in-law was a paternity nurse. And that's...
I see Marcia and Javon going back and forth. I was going to stop that, but Marcia tried to hate on me. She tried to snitch. So I'm gonna let y'all go at it.
Same hospital. So she's born on American soil. So I don't think they had any intention of having somebody just come in right there and getting in that easy way. But she matches the bare bones qualifications. But you get somebody like that, they're easy to manipulate and control because they've got no connections with this place.
I think it's quite a tell that Kamala doesn't have any children of her own. It's something that I think is concerning. I know that the left freaked out and Taylor Swift posted a picture of her with a cat when JD Vance accurately said that you don't want.
I wouldn't really say it's concerning though. I would like, some people don't want kids. You know what I mean? Maybe she got fixed, or maybe she was having a ball. You know what I mean? Like when she was in college, and you know she just didn't want to get pregnant. Maybe she just figured out a way to just make it not happen. But I don't know, man. A concern is some people just they don't want kids. You know what I mean? Like some people just like that.
On a bunch of like childless cat ladies running things, and I agree with that. And I also agree.
Yo, childless cat lady, she be sniping Kamala, bro.
Similarly, in the exact same vein, that it is concerning when you have basically a coalition of childless cat women and so many homosexual men, people like Cory Booker. I don't know if everybody knows he's homosexual, but and in these positions of power who are informing policy.
Shout out to Audi. He said Teamsters for Trump, local 305. Shout out to y'all.
Very removed from a certain kind of capacity.
Hey, y'all, we getting close to that 100,000 subscribers, bro. It's 89,809, 801.
And I know people, they tried to make it seem like you meant, oh, women that are struggling with fertility issues. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people that have zero inclination, desire toward family, but they want power, right? And it genuinely scares me when I think about this, because they are naturally nihilistic. They're where they gain that power and that assertion from within themselves, to me, is quite troubling. And their ability to inflict pain. You know, I did a lot of translating, the pieces that the journalists that exposed Emmanuel Macron's upbringing and the fact that his wife was actually born a man. He spoke about this at length, about when you have someone who was raised up like this, someone who was sexually assaulted when he was young, introduced to sort of these perverted sexual things. We're talking about so much sexual perversion in the government. Their ability to inflict pain on others almost knows no bounds. There's an element of a sociopathic nature that's instilled in them at a very young age. And I think we have too many of these sociopaths that are in government. Their ability to lie. Like I say to people.
Now I kind of see why, like, I'm not saying this is like they're right, but I see why they're afraid of like social media and people with voices. But Candace Owens having this many people listen to her, 653,000 people. She could literally say whatever she want to say. Like, she tries to be as professional as she can. She throws her jabs when necessary. But like now I see, like, if you're a politician, like Barack Obama dodged a serious foe. Like if she was this lit, he would have been, he would have been in for it with her investigative journalism. Like, oh man, bro. Yeah, she got 600,000 like views on this, and it's been up for 17 hours. Like, she is a view queen right now, bro. Like, I could do a blog on Candace Owens and get like 100,000 views. This is how like lit she is. Like, this video got like, I mean, this was about Lara Trump and, you know, whatever. Let's see how many views we got on this one. This one's got 166,000 views. But like, if I just did like a blog on her, I'd probably get like 100,000 views. Like, this is how lit she is. So like Obama, man, he dodged the foe, bro. Like, cause she would have went in on him.
Pause. Forget
Because remember, she was talking, I think she was talking to Mark Lamont. It was either him or like Chink, and she was talking about where Obama was raised and school he went to that had no blacks in it, and he's raised in Indonesia, and like then like went to Hawaii, and like the way she broke him down, I'm like, who is Obama? And she would have came with the facts. That would have really messed him up, bro. But back then, like when Obama was running, like all social media was really liberal. So it would have been harder to, because, you know, they'll sanitize you or, you know, disinformation and, you know, do things like that to you. And we see people like posting on X now, like, oh, Facebook just took this down. They just took this down for disinformation. Even like TikTok, they're taking stuff down because they are scared of the government. They just literally enacting legislation to force a sale. You know, so people want to play ball, especially Facebook and all these people. They want to play ball, bro.
You know, forget what you think about Kamala,
So
whether
they're
you're voting for
scared.
her, whether you're not voting for her. We've now established as a fact that she put a fake woman in her book and tried to present this black woman as her grandmother. What kind of a person
Would do that?
Yes. Like, what do you think about what that takes to find the photo, whether it's photoshopped, whether it's a photo of you with a different person, whatever, you put it in your book, you lie, you are sealing the identity of a black person, knowing that actually you descend from slave owners.
Yeah, Colin Radley is right. He said, has y'all been voting for the party that started slavery and crying about racism? Hey, Java, he got you on that one, bro.
Right? And you feel nothing. And you keep this up because you realize nobody's fact checked it. You're going around, you're trying to blackify yourself, and you feel nothing. What does that tell you about what that person is capable of? That they don't have basic morality.
Ruthless, unprincipled person. And you pointed this out earlier.
What do you think about a woman that's trying to blackify herself that has no roots? And he said, ruthless person.
What happens when you have no legacy?
Y'all hit the like.
Yeah.
Shout out
You
to Deja
don't
Vu.
have any interest in continuity. You're not thinking like you do when you have children, grandchildren, or when you adopt somebody who is actually a child and you participate in raising them. And I hate to do this as an analogy, but dogs are part of our families, right? People love their dogs, but you didn't have the dog, you adopted the dog. Well, if you adopt a child, that becomes your child. You raise that child. Now, she adopted 2 teenagers, which, you know, that doesn't count. They're already
Wait,
grown.
who adopted a teenager?
She adopted her husband's 2 children.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
No.
So what happens is, what is her stake in tomorrow? I mean, if you went out and you adopted a 9-month-old, a 1.5, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and you're raising them, you've got an interest in tomorrow. But you see, that's like that.
Yo, it's crazy that she's my neighbor. Candace, like in Nashville, like, that's crazy.
Example I gave you of, you know, you come down the jungle trail with an antelope across your shoulders and you see this
Donna for president
war party about to fall on your village. Nobody's looking. Do you sneak off or do you sound the alarm and maybe die to sacrifice for your village and your people and your descendants? Or do you just turn around and run?
Kamala turns around and runs.
Yeah.
She has no stake in
No
tomorrow.
stake in this. And her connections are suspect, but her connections make her vulnerable. It's like, I was in California when a lot of this was going on, and she and Willie Brown got detailed in the LA Times and the San Francisco Chronicle a lot about what they were doing. So you're in your 20s, and this is 30 years ago, and you're getting paid $72,000 a month for showing up at 2 meetings a month, maybe 15 hours for the month, and everybody else on this panel that you're on is 65 to 70 years old with a lifetime in medicine, and you have absolutely no medical background, and you're getting paid $72,000 a year because you're a mistress to somebody that's 60 years old.
Wow. What kind of issues do they have? 'Cause he is going in on Kamala, bro.
And has put you in there, and then he gets you sort of promotion to another aspect of the same setup, and you get $120,000 a year for showing up for 2 meetings a month, and she misses 20% of them. And this is 30 years ago. $120,000 30 years ago is making $250,000 now.
Wow. And people need to know this is the true story of Kamala. People aren't making this up because it's election season. You can go back and read the article in the LA Times, San Francisco Chronicle. I've read them. They were basically like, this woman is sleeping around and she's making a ton of money. You know, she slept with Willie Brown and he's just putting her into.
Oh, yo, you is messy, Judge Joe, bro. He said, don't forget Montel. Hey, a person like this, you do not want to make mad, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Putting her into positions of power.
And then there's the other thing, too. They talked about how she got on with the DA's office in Alameda County and also some other things, and even getting to be U.S. Senator, which I found very peculiar because, you know, now senators are elected by constitutional amendment. They used to be appointed by the states. She is the first person, the only person in California's history to run with no Republican opponent for U.S. Senator.
Wow.
Wow. And they say he's senile. Look at all these facts he's spitting out.
Not know that.
Yeah, see, it's interesting, the whole 9 yards. And then there's another suspect thing.
Where is the super chats at? Why are y'all acting like Democrats? Wait a minute. Where are they at? What is y'all doing?
What's wrong? Daddy's going to do that. What? Daddy's going to do crack. He what? He's going to do a crack. Are you serious? Daddy!
Hit the like button. Subscribe.
West Bank. George Soros was the major investor in One West Bank. Mnuchin, later the Obama administration, for 1 year in the Trump administration before he got fired, he was CEO.
Billionaire shout.
This is when they were having that mortgage foreclosure fraud.
Shout out to Ellie Mack with the $2 donation. Said older black people be unbiased in a mug. Man, he going in, bro.
Situation. All right.
Hey, we need to have Marcia and Javin like call in, bro. Like so they can go back and forth so we can listen to what's going on.
Neighbors lost their properties behind this fraud. So just about every county in California returned indictments against Mnuchin and One West Bank. There were 5,200 plus counts of indictments returned. 5,200. Well, Soros and Mnuchin raised a lot of money for Kamala, quite a few $1 million for her to run for the office of Attorney General of the state of California. When she got elected, she used her authority to consolidate all of these indictment counts and dismiss them. 3 weeks later, George Soros...
Shout out to Audi with the donation of $1.99. He said, Javin is a female picking on females.
Sells One West Bank for $3.42.
Javin, I know you're going to hit the super chat and fight back. Hit the super chat, Javin!
$1 billion. And then
acting like a Democrat up here. What you doing, bro?
What's wrong? Daddy's going to do that. What? Daddy's going to do crack. He what? He's going to do a crack.
Shout out to the Democrats. I'm joking. Shout out to y'all. It's just that we joking in here. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Don't get mad at us.
They raised a lot of money to get her elected as U.S. Senator without Republican
And
opposition.
I want to say this, you know what I mean? If you voting blue, that's your prerogative. You know what I mean? I'm not bullying y'all into voting any type of way. You know, I just don't understand it, but you know what I mean? I'm not going to, like, y'all vote for who y'all want to vote for. I just want to say that, just so YouTube know.
Position. Now, can you imagine California with no Republican candidate running against the Democratic Party candidate?
Hey, no, Javin, you paid $1.99 to be loud and wrong, remember? Audi with the $1.99 said Javin is broke. He ain't got no... Javin was like, yo, the Syrian, like the Alexa saying this and that, what ain't real is fake, then we pull up the information. He was wrong.
See, that's how she gets in. And at that point, she was Indian.
Oh, yeah. She was sworn in as Indian.
Yeah. Indictment counts and dismissed them. 3 weeks later, George Soros sells One West Bank for $3.42 billion.
Wait, hold on. He mentioning George Soros?
Bank. Mnuchin, later the Obama administration, and for 1 year in the Trump administration before he got fired, he was CEO. This is when they were having that mortgage foreclosure fraud situation. All right. I had 3 neighbors lost their properties behind this fraud. So just about every county in California returned indictments against Mnuchin and One West Bank. There were 5,200 plus counts of indictments returned. 5,200. Well, Soros and Mnuchin raised a lot of money for Kamala, quite a few $1 million for her to run for the office of Attorney General of the state of California. When she got elected, she used her authority to consolidate all of these indictment counts and dismiss them. 3 weeks later, George Soros sells One West Bank for $3.42 billion. And then they raised a lot of money to get her elected as U.S. Senator without Republican opposition. Now, can you imagine California with no Republican candidate running against the Democratic Party candidate? Incredible. See, that's how she gets in. And at that point, she was Indian.
Oh, yeah. She was sworn in as Indian.
Yeah. So she wasn't talking about.
Yo, this dude know everything, man. Kamala, you didn't drop a bag on him yet? Yo, he going in on you, Kamala. Javin said, the only Democrat with money in here. Y'all Republicans too poor. LOL, Marcia, too poor to super chat. Get her, Javin! And then Audi said, John Kelly, I've spent more than $2, my boy. You're late. Shout out to y'all.
What about being black? I find something else too. If you're part white and you're part black, what are you as far as Americans concerned? You're black. You're part Asian and part black. America takes you as black. So how does she get to be Indian, recognized as such if she's got black in her? She doesn't.
No, she's without question Irish Indian. There's no question about it.
No.
Irish.
Yeah, she's Irish and Indian. Well, I mean, Elizabeth Warren is like, she thinks she's Pocahontas to get like her grant. You know, so they'll do anything, Judge Joe Brown. Like they will, they really will. The blue people, they'll do anything. Say anything.
You get this mythology in, but she's easy to control because A, she's lazy. I know a lot of lawyers, now senior members of a firm that I recruited to law school way back when at UCLA back in early 70s.
Marcia trying to act like she's not a Democrat.
And they'll tell you, she was not one that put in a lot of work when she prepared for a case. She'd shorten a hemline up every day of the trial, and somebody...
Colin Radley said, Javin said it, the only Democrat in here with money. Just said Dems don't have money. You did say that, Javin, bro. Javin, you said the only Democrat with money in here. Y'all Republicans too poor. LOL, Marcia too poor to super chat. Oh, man.
Supposed to be impressed. And
he sounded like Lyndon Johnson, don't he?
We have somebody that counted on other people doing the work, and she did the casting couch thing to get to
have them Democrats voting for us for another 200 years. Give them some welfare.
Top, but at the top, what are you going to do?
Exactly. If you're
not
going
to deal with Putin? He's probably got something waiting in the far wing of the Kremlin that looks a lot better than this 60-year-old woman. Xi Jinping, you know, he's going to be inscrutable. No.
Well, you even saw when Putin sat down with Tucker, he was very clear. He's like, I don't deal with your presidents. He heavily implied it's just a show, and I deal with the CIA. Like, your presidents are not running the country. I deal with the CIA. And this was why the media freaked out when Tucker was going out there, because this is kind of, I think now, a known thing that the people that purport to be in charge are just puppets, and there's people behind the scenes that are pulling the strings. And it seems like that is very much the military-industrial complex. We're talking about Halliburton. We're talking about the CIA. You know, the war machine is telling them what to do, what to say. They just need someone that can at least read the teleprompter. And Joe Biden stopped being that. You know, he stopped being able to even just read the teleprompter. So they said, okay, we got to go to our B option, which is Kamala.
And then look at
and Kamala was reading the teleprompter when she was on Univision at a town hall meeting. Rich G B2A. So with the $4.99, he said, "Forget Javin, thug life."
There was no primary vetting.
I know, it's incredible.
There wasn't even anything the old time way where you had convention ballots going on. The last time she put herself to the test, she had to withdraw early in the primary season because she wasn't.
Yo, she stepped her camera game up, bro. This camera is crispy.
Doing anything at all. And then you have this other thing where how do you jump from being the least popular vice president or president in the country's history if you take the last 70-some years of polling?
Let me play something for Marcia, because since she don't want a super chat.
What's wrong? Daddy's gonna do that. What? Daddy's gonna do crack. He what? He's gonna do a crack. Are you serious? Daddy!
And all of a sudden you become a front runner. It just doesn't happen. But then you look at what's going on with the press that, you know, I'm astonished at the press now. It's like they're the propaganda engines for the Democratic Party.
They've always been that, you know?
Well, no, they weren't. Not back when. You'd have a report that said, okay, Donald Trump claimed that so on and so forth. Meanwhile, his Democratic opponent made a counterclaim. You wouldn't have Donald Trump lied about this or Donald Trump made a false assertion.
Yeah, you're right. I guess what I mean to say is that I think the media, I shouldn't say has always been Democratic. Whichever candidate was going to get them the war they wanted. And I think right now we were on the brink of another, they want World War III. I've been saying this for 2 years on my show. It's been very obvious the way that they're covering everything. We're going to get dragged into another war. And I don't think that I actually know, because he has said this, that Donald Trump is their war candidate. You know, Trump has been very much, he started out much more isolationist, full stop. He was like, every boy needs to come back home, America first. Now, he definitely has already said that he doesn't support what's happening in Ukraine, that we shouldn't be involved in Ukraine. That's not going to work for the war class. They're laundering money over there. I mean, I think they want to make this thing bigger. And Kamala is just an empty vessel. She'll do what they'll say. Trump is got his guts, you know, he's got his wits about him. He's going to say, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do that. He's too strong of a person.
He's somebody actually in charge, not a figurehead.
Right.
Now, Bill Clinton.
They can't have that.
He said Donald Trump is actually somebody in charge and not a figurehead. Colin Radley with the $4.99. He said, Javin, on behalf of the Republican Party, we thank you for buying a Tesla and donating to Trump's campaign. And then now you 30 with the $20. Whoa, Javin, take that.
Bill Clinton was a hillbilly, but he had leadership capacity and he was a strong man. I remember something that I saw him do that was very fascinating. 40-some years ago, they had a coalition down here in Arkansas, and they met up in Jonesboro.
I got the bag.
The synagogue. I think it was Jonesboro.
He's like, I'm voting red.
I went down there to consult with them, and they had an organization that had farm workers, League of Women Voters, Jewish Defense League, etc.
Can we get 100,000 subscribers? What is y'all doing? Stop playing with me. 21,000 in 2 weeks. 21,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. Why are we not at 100,000 yet? What is y'all doing? Wait a minute. Hit the subscribe button. It's okay. I'm not at 1 million yet. Hate when I get at 900,000. Come on, what y'all doing?
Bunch of ministers, and these night riders were coming by in flatbed trucks with shotguns and rifles, intimidating everybody. So they got the bright idea of, let's call the governor. He's a young guy. So they did. Bill Clinton showed up, buffed out dude.
Can you imagine this being your grandfather and he got all these stories? Shout out to Audi with the $1.99. He said Javin took his partner name. It's hyphenated.
Big, you know. And he had his...
Marcia trying to lay low. Marcia, like, we see you. We see you, Marcia. Where is the money, Marcia?
What's wrong?
Daddy's gonna do that.
What?
Daddy's gonna do crack.
He what?
He's gonna do a crack.
Are you serious? Daddy!
Arkansas State Police guards, you know, and he made them wait inside the synagogue or church. And he gave his coat to the preacher, and there was this guy with a bullhorn over there agitating. He went over and knocked the thing out of his hand. The big guy picked him up, rammed him up against the wall. His feet were about this high off the ground, fished in his pocket, took his wallet out, looked through it, put it back in and said, your name's so-and-so, this is where you live. And if I see anybody, hear about anybody coming back here to mess with my constituents, I'm getting you. And he threw the guy down, and somebody came up with a shotgun. He punched him, butt stroked the guy with his own shotgun, and walked down the sidewalk, knocked 4 or 5 people to the ground, and said, anybody want a piece of this? I said, damn, all right, I'm impressed. But you see, they don't make them like that now for the Democratic Party. They don't have any give 'em hell Harris. They don't, who was a captain in the World War I and decorated.
What do y'all think about this though, bro? Like, cause this, let me show y'all this. Chad Archer with the $2, he said, jiving with a $5 Goodwill coat and with the neck beard. Oh, crazy, bro. Hold on, let me show y'all this.
Time I was here, I asked you why you were prioritizing migrant spending over public safety. You said that you weren't. A handful of hours later, you earmarked another $100 million to a migrant vendor. $100 million, that sounds like real money to me. You doubled down on your opposition to ShotSpotter, excuse me. Some people are suggesting maybe what we need is body spotter technology. Bodies are piling up in alleys, on sidewalks. People are afraid to call 911 to pick up.
Mayor Johnson meets media following city council meeting. I'm about to show y'all how dirty this dude is, bro.
To have the city come and pick up these bodies.
Colin Radley with the 199. Chad, that's called a neared.
Okay, and I'm hearing from real Chicagoans, okay, black and brown. They're asking me to ask you, okay, can they trust you? Can they believe your word? Are you lying to them?
So it says, woke Chicago mayor triggered as he is called out for spamming race card and abusing tax funds on wife.
There are some Chicagoans who are literally comparing you to Lightfoot. Many are saying that you're worse than
he needs to be put in jail. Watch what I show y'all. He needs to be put in jail.
Lightfoot, that you're an even worse mayor than Lori Lightfoot, if you can imagine this. When I used to ask Lori Lightfoot
questions. You asked your question.
Okay, well, here's my question.
No, you already asked a question. You say, can people trust me?
Here's my real question.
Okay, all right, so we're going to have a real question this time.
So Lori Lightfoot, when I used to ask her about shootings, right, towards the end of her administration, she would say to me that the only reason anyone was asking her that question was because she was a black lesbian. Remember? Now, you're not even 2 years into your administration, and whenever anyone asks you, difficult questions, you give essentially the Lori Lightfoot black lesbian answer. That somehow people are questioning you because you're black.
You got to get to your question, man.
Do you have a better answer than you're a black man?
Okay, well, I'm not a black lesbian, so I have never said that.
He trying to be slick, bro. But hold on. We gonna show y'all how dirty this dude is in a minute.
Before, look, the people of Chicago trusted me, and they voted for me, and I'm going to do everything in my power.
I'm gonna show you who they voted for. This dude need to be in jail.
To continue to invest in people. All right.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Chicago, right? We got to talk about Chicago once again because woke mayor Brandon Johnson is facing more allegations of corruption that we have to talk about, okay?
Let me show y'all this. This dude is ridiculous.
More than $2,200.
Please tell me why this dude is not in jail, this mayor. Please tell me why he is not in jail.
Record showing that the city spent $80,000 renovating a single office to be used by Mayor Johnson's wife, the First Lady of Chicago.
The receipts show that city workers did much of the labor and billed the city for that work. Here's NBC5 Investigates Bennett Haberly with the story. Bennett.
Yeah, Alex and Allison, these renovation or redecorating costs, well, the mayor says won't bankrupt the city, come at a time when Chicago is facing a huge financial hole and weighing all options, including...
They're going to end up doing layoffs and all of this, and they're in a huge financial hole. This guy takes $80,000 of taxpayer money, and he ends up renovating a room for his wife. I think this is money laundering. Like, when you see some of this furniture, he spent $40-something thousand just on the furniture. I think this is like money laundering, because you're going to be like, how does that chair cost this much? What? He need to be in jail. Watch this.
Potential layoffs to make up for this deficit. Chicago's financial challenges raise questions about why the city spent more than $80,000 renovating this office in the Cultural Center for First Lady Stacey Johnson. Invoices obtained by NBC5 Investigates show the work began in room 306 as early as February and continued through August, with city workers, including painters, carpenters, and electricians, clocking more than 350 hours of time, billing the city
350 hours of time for one room.
For more than $25,000 in labor costs. Invoices also show more than $11,000 went to a vendor to replace tile and carpeting. Another invoice shows more than $43,000 was spent on furniture alone. We uncover these records through a series
That
of
is ridiculous. $43,000 on furniture. Wait till you see some of this furniture, bro. Y'all gonna be like, what? This dude need to be in jail.
Public records requests that we filed weeks ago. We told the mayor's office we had questions about this on Tuesday, giving them more than 24 hours to prepare for these questions. I'm wondering if you could help define what is the role of the First Lady in your administration, and how do we...
She got the Kamala Harris's earrings. All right, but let's listen to Mr. Corrupt. Let's listen to what he's saying.
Justify spending upwards of $80,000 to redecorate an office for her and staff in our current financial situation?
So the Cultural Center has always been a location for dignitaries. Every First Lady has had office space, there. Renovations for my office or any other office is standard procedure.
Is there any concern about optics of spending $4,000 on a desk or $4,000 in club chairs at a time when the city is in this sort of budget hole?
Yeah, a desk is not going to, the purchase.
$4,000 on the desk. This dude need to be in jail. And they have a budget crisis. Why is he not in jail?
Yeah, a desk is not going to, the purchase of a desk is not going to change the financial structural damage that has been in place for a very long time. So this is why we ask.
But it can help you not spending $80,000. That could at least, you in Chicago, that might be like a year and a half for another employee to work. That could be another police officer on the road. Y'all got high crime. Will y'all be letting these niggas, like, will y'all, like, this dude is wildin'. Shout out to Fresh, new subscriber. Appreciate you. He is wildin'. Did y'all know this? Oh, I'm sorry. Presidential election. He's a Democrat. They're not going to say nothing about this. Can you imagine living in Chicago in fear of gangs? And you hoping they hire more police, and you find out he's renovating a space that's already got stuff in it, ripping tile out for no reason, replacing chairs and $4,000 desks, and y'all need police. And he said, oh, well, $4,000 desk and all of this is not gonna, like really mess things up because there's already a problem. Like, what? Y'all voters need to wake up. Get off Xbox, PlayStation, stop listening to Charlamagne the God. People like this, y'all got to pay attention to.
Structural damage that has been in place for a very long time. You know, so this is why we ask, and I mean this respectfully, we ask far more profound questions than that. We ask, how do we make sure that the structural damage that's been created over the course of decades, that we reroute the rivers, if you will, to make sure that it gets to the places where there's dry land. And that's what we're doing.
Johnson voiced displeasure with our questions.
I need to be a mayor, bro.
But they were born out of these receipts, which show an order for this executive chair costing more than $2,200.
Does that look like a $2,200 chair? This is laundering, bro. Like, hey, dog, like, just say you got a business and just get one of these, like, trashy little chairs. I'm gonna give you $2,200, but just say it's $2,200. I watched Ozark. I know how it goes. I got Netflix. Thug Life. I'm not saying this is what you're doing. I'm saying this is what it looks like. Javin, is this your friend? That's why I'd be scared too if they try to call me at like, bro.
What's wrong?
Daddy told me to do that.
What?
Daddy told me to do a crack.
He what?
He told me to do a crack.
Are you serious? Daddy!
Did this chair look like a $2,224 chair? Look at this chair. My chair look better. My chair is like $130. This is $2,224. He bought one each. What kind of leather is this? Is this from Saint Tropez? Like, where is he getting this from?
$2,200. A desk labeled for the First Lady running more than $4,400.
Look at this. Colin Radley with the $199. He said that chair looks like Javin. Yo, bro, this ridiculous. Look at this desk, this simple desk, bro. $4,400. I wish y'all could see my desk. My desk looked way better than that, and it was like my desk was like $299. I ain't gonna lie, my computer does, but like this is crazy, bro.
Another staffer's desk, $4,600, and
a staffer's desk is $46. What?
Desk
$4,600.
$4,600, and 2 club chairs costing more than $8,000.
2 chairs, $8,000. Tell me this isn't money laundering. Watch Ozark on Netflix. Tell me he is not money laundering. Just tell me he not. I'm not saying he is. Thug Life. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying, tell me it isn't. Look at these chairs. I've been to a library that got better chairs than this. Carolina business furniture. Bro, this dude is wilding, man. 2 of these, $8,000. 83. Bro, if y'all don't lock him up. And then they trying to give Little Dirk the keys to the city. Oh, everybody need to be locked up. Wait a minute. What are they doing out there in Chicago? This is ridiculous. I'm missing a bunch of people this story. This is crazy. $8,000 for these 2 chairs. Y'all are never gonna, that's what I'm saying. Y'all are never gonna see this in the news. You're not. You're seeing it on this channel. What's going down in it, like what they doing. Thug Life. And the dude is like, he ain't got no excuse for it.
structural damage that has been in place for a very long time. Yeah, a desk is not going to, the purchase of a desk is not going to change the financial structural damage that has been in place for a very long time.
Shout out to Chad Archer with the $5. He says, Democrats changing out Biden for Kamala is like crapping your pants and then going and changing your shirt. Yeah. Hey, for YouTube, hey, that if you want to vote blue, you vote blue. If you want to vote red, you want to vote red. We kind of just think, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us think that red is the way right now. You know what I'm saying? But if you blue, we're not gonna bully you. I don't know what the chat gonna do, but I'm not gonna bully you or nothing like that. Y'all just vote for who you want to vote for. But when y'all blue people be doing this, crime rate be going up. Y'all be like, where the money at? We need cops. Well, you know, my $4,000 desk ain't gonna really hurt nothing. And then the Family Express with the $2, he said, Wayfair prices. If you know, you know. Exactly. He could have got that chair for like $60 on Wayfair. And then Kathleen Woodson with the $4.99. Shout out to you. Said cheap A furniture. Wonder what her furnishings look like at their home. My pick is Marty Bird's Bar in Ozarks. Yo, Ozarks was lit, wasn't it, Kathleen? Yo, I watched that twice. You don't see it. Thug Life. Ozark is lit. You know, but so he need to be in jail, bro. This is money laundering. It's gotta be. Allegedly. They rich. So I gotta say that. This has gotta be money laundering, y'all.
And I mean this respectfully. We ask far more profound questions than that. We ask, how do we make sure that the structural damage that's been created over the course of decades, that we reroute the rivers, if you will, to make sure that it gets to the places where there's...
You're looking down like, no, this N-word is not... No, he did not just say, this is like rerouting the rivers. No, this is like y'all money laundering or scamming the city. This is crazy. This is Marcia's friend. This is Marcia baby's friend right here.
Dry land. And that's what we're doing.
Johnson voiced displeasure with our questions, but they were born out of these receipts, which show an order for this executive chair costing more than $2,200.
I just cannot believe that, bro. That is ridiculous.
This one is hilarious, right? Because Brandon Johnson, as you guys saw at the beginning of this video, has been confronted on spamming the race card, okay? Because anytime this guy is confronted with allegations of corruption, he pulls a race card, which is basically par.
But then they're going after Eric Adams because they said that he's accepting bribes because he took a trip somewhere, was first class on the trip, and then he stayed in like a high rise. And so they're trying to get him for like accepting bribes, but they don't have like him accepting like money. Well, they're getting him with like allegedly accepting bribes, and then they're saying that he misappropriated like campaign funds or something like that. But all of this after he gave Diddy the key to the city, and Diddy is up on charges because they don't want him to like have anything to do with like trying to sway anybody and making them chill out on Diddy. You know, and that's what I think that's all about. Thug life. That's what I think. You know, but this guy, like the level of corruption with mayors is ridiculous. We had a mayor like, I can't remember his name or something, Price or something in Cleveland, Ohio when I used to live there. Like that dude was like corrupt as you can be. And it's like, well, are they just immune to prosecution or something? Like, what is up? I mean, Eric Adams is being indicted, you know what I mean? But it feels like, yo, like they're just outright with it. They're not even hiding it anymore. It's ridiculous.
For the course, when it comes to so-called Democrats of color.
Oh, yo, they just filed a complaint with the FCC over Harris in 60 Minutes. Yo, look at this, bro.
Welcome back. Senior Republican Commissioner on the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, accusing Facebook in an X post over the weekend of censoring information again. The fact that Vice President Kamala Harris has...
Shout out to Brandon with the Cash App. I appreciate you, bro.
Failed failed to connect even one person to the internet, despite leading the administration's 40.
This Meta accused of censoring posts on Harris' failure to expand internet access despite leading 442 billion plan. What?
$1 billion internet infrastructure plan for over 1,000 days. Facebook labeled this post as, quote, false information from an FCC commissioner. Okay, they fact-checked it with the Biden-Harris administration. So then they determine it's false. That label has since.
I'm so sick of Facebook. Do y'all use Facebook? I have not been on Facebook in like a minute. Like, I don't go on that app. If I don't have to go on that app, I do not go on that. They censored me like 3 different times. I stayed off of it. Shout out to Audi with the 199. He said, hey, fam, check out the Officer Tatum show. I got to reach out to him and see if I can react to some of his stuff, bro. That's what's going on. Because I think he may be in the network, if I'm not mistaken. Because he got like 3 million something subscribers. So I'm sure he may be in the network. So I'm going to see. I'm going to test it on my other channel, and then I'm gonna start reacting to his stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna see first. I'm gonna upload a couple things on another channel to see if it's copyright detected. If it's not, then I'll start reacting to it. And I'm also gonna reach out to him just to see if I can.
It's been removed. And in a statement to Fox Business, Meta says this.
But,
quote,
you know, I don't really, shout out to him. I don't be believing, like, I mean, I agree with some of the stuff he says, but you know what I mean? He too far right with a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of get, you know, like the I don't want to say, like the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins, they as right as you can go. You know what I mean? I'm right. You know what I mean? Like I'm on the right side, but I'm not that far down the street. Like the Hodge twins, like ain't they mixed? Like the Massey lady, when they went into the house and did that, like they let that dude from Fresh and Fit, Marlon or whatever his name is, go up there and just spew basically all the cops was right about that. And they just like let the dude rock. I was like, nah, I would have went off on dude, bro. Like, nah, man. Like, nah, you ain't about to come up here and do that, man.
Publishers clear rating.
We hit 90,000 subscribers. We on our way to 100,000. Thug Life. We had 67,000 2 weeks ago. Shout out. But this is insane. So the formal complaint filed to FCC over Harris 60 Minutes interview, distortion. All right, let's see if they get into this.
Until next year at the earliest, and in many cases, not until 2026.
All right, Kamala Harris, rural broadband flop. Okay, let's get to the FCC. FCC.
Begins to the internet. Back then, Vice President Harris said we can get the job done today. Well, flash forward to today. It's been now 1,072 days since she took the helm of.
Facetiously, given the fact that they're using money in FEMA for illegals, according to Karine Jean-Pierre 2 years ago. Look, the conservative watchdog Center for American Rights filed a formal complaint with the FCC, accusing CBS News of distortion for airing that edited answer from Vice President Harris's 60 Minutes interview.
Don't they have to have a license? Like, hold on. Media license. What are they, CBS? All right, let me see. Hold on. Yeah, I think they're yeah. Threats to strip broadcast licenses. Yeah, so they're licensed. So what do you get if you like licensed media? Besides like access to like certain events and stuff like that. Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah, they wild. And they can get their license revoked for distortion. So yeah, so it seems like they filed a formal complaint. Audi said JD A18, the twins are mixing. They talk about it.
Let's talk about this for a second, because I want to show the unedited video that was used to promote the interview, followed by the edited version, which actually aired on 60 Minutes. Watch.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
Wow, that is infuriating, Commissioner. Really, when you look at those completely different answers, it's clear that the second answer was actually not even part of the first answer. I mean, they may have actually taken the second answer from a different question and just inserted it in there. What do you want the FCC to do here in terms of CBS's local New York station, WCBS?
Yeah, my SEC colleague, Republican Commissioner Symington, has been very active on this. What he's pointed out is the news distortion rule is a very, very narrow rule at the FCC. In almost every case, it doesn't apply because it could get into sort of editorial decisions that are protected by the First Amendment. But what he said is that CBS should release the transcript. And the reason why this complaint is not frivolous is because the rules say, for instance, the example we've given is if you take an answer to a question that is a yes and you replace the answer of no from a different question, that's something that would potentially fall within the news distortion rule. My position is I agree with Catherine Herridge. She was a former...
Yeah, they need to be like, they bugging, bro.
They don't have any John F. Kennedys who had PT-109 chopped in two by a Japanese destroyer. They don't have any FDRs who was Secretary of the Navy from a family of warriors, least of all Teddy Roosevelt, who led the Rough Riders up with the 10th Cavalry up San Juan Hill. You don't have that. You don't even have Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was an interesting guy. You don't have people like that now. You've got some wishy-washy somebodies that would be nobodies if they didn't have the lifetime political connections where there is obvious corruption. You, for your entire adult life, have been on a government payroll, but you're a multimillionaire. It just doesn't equate. Not at all.
Right.
She said,
So, and by the way, you get people who are very vulnerable. And when you have somebody that's vulnerable, you can control them.
Emmanuel Macron, Barack Obama with his history, homosexual relationships.
Biden.
Yep, Biden.
Let me tell you about Biden.
Yeah.
Fox, 2.5 years.
She slipped that in there. No. Yo, if they catch her. I love Candace Owens. She be wildin', bro.
Years ago, did a moot court thing where I was the judge on it in New Jersey. So we kind of got a jury selected, and they were going to play grand jury. Was there probable cause to believe that Hunter Biden committed an act in violation of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA? And we had the technician who worked on the laptops. And by the way, I said laptops, plural. There were 3, not 1 like the press is saying.
Wow.
And he downloaded all of them and had the documentation where he got permission from a perhaps high Hunter Biden. So we got to spend hours going.
Perhaps high Hunter Biden. Bro, they're finding like white girl in the White House. You know what I'm talking about? All in the White House, they finding that. Bro, what is going on under this administration? This is literally insane, bro.
Going through the laptops, there's a lot of incriminating stuff in there. Like, for example, I'm led to believe that one of the reasons that Trump wouldn't turn over the documents out of Mar-a-Lago is because they were deeply incriminating against Biden and Obama from what was being said on those laptops. This fool, this crackhead, even had White House tapes on that laptop. Wow. And they still have White House tapes, but they're not just auditory, they're visual. And some of the things in there, were there wartime things going on, would be treason. One of them concerned about backing the U.S. Navy off of aggressive counter-patrolling of the Chinese Navy in the South China Sea.
Yo, hey, Candace Owens just retweeted, or tweeted. She said, my 2-year-old daughter just came over to me with a white crayon and said, Mommy, it doesn't work. And I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask at Crayola, what exactly is the point of the white crayon? Yo, she is funny, bro. Well, you know, like you can use the white crayon like on black paper, but She funny, bro.
When they were trying to build these concrete emplacements on these.
Would you say Tisha May 83? She said, what?
Slightly submerged atolls so they could claim 200 miles of Chinese territory around them, and they wanted the Navy to back off. That's all on there. And the admirals 2 months later in military times were complaining about them being told to stand down, and how disgusted they were with that. And there was money being talked about. You heard that thing about $10 million being mentioned.
For the big guy?
Yeah, but it wasn't just to the big guy. It was to Obama, Biden. And in the video from the White House tapes, there's this Chinese guy talking about he'd made $100 million deposit in the business that Hunter was involved with, and each of them got 10%. That's... I mean, it may have been AI, but what was in there, it may not have been either, and somebody needs to look at it. And by the way, to show you what they're doing with weak people and being able to get away with stuff with what they've done with the press, the President of the United States is Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He can override any general. He can give orders to the generals. He's chief diplomat, and he can override the Secretary of State who works for him as a cabinet officer, all right? So what that means is just like he has unlimited pardoning power. Nobody can gainsay the president when it comes to pardoning. Nobody can gainsay the president when it comes to either classifying or declassifying in whole or part any document by any means he chooses. The case
You don't think about that.
Case on that is United States Department of Navy versus Egan, EGAN, 1988. If you look into the whole thing, there are multiple concurring opinions, and they say he has absolute authority to classify or declassify.
Right.
There's an old case from 1803, a very famous one called Marbury versus Madison, that says the president is under no obligation to comply with an unconstitutional act of Congress. It set the principle for the Supreme Court being able to, or a court, appellate court, under appropriate circumstances, for being able to declare an act of Congress unconstitutional.
Yo, his like ability to recall like all of this is just amazing to me. It kind of reminds me of when Tucker Carlson was talking to Putin, how he could just rattle off and recall like different like governmental things. Like that's fire, bro.
And when they came up with this thing with the archive,
and Javin said he's spreading misinformation about what?
Have authority to dictate what they're going to take into the archives. That usurps the constitutional authority of the president, which cannot be done by legislation. So that act is unconstitutional. And considering what we were looking at from those laptops, the downloads, it looks like there was some very incriminating stuff that Trump did not want to surrender to the archivists because that would allow the culprits to get control of them and cover their tracks.
Today's economic environment is still really stressful for a lot of us, but with the Fed...
Shout out to Candace Owens. Shout out to everybody. Hey, we coming back later. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell so you can get notified on when I go live. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We've been live for like probably over 3 hours. You know, so I want to let y'all chill, you know what I mean? Recoup. Javin, you know what I mean? You were found to be wrong. You know, shout out to you, but you got to take that L, bro. You know what I mean? And maybe Marcia, she can go and she can get a little bit of money, you know what I mean? She might have to super chat, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But shout out to everybody. Thank you for Audi for the super chats. Everybody, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for all the support, all the new subscribers, checking out the content. I appreciate y'all. It is what it is. Come and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Also, shout out to Candace Owens because she allows people, it seems like, to react to her content. But please do subscribe to Candace Owens. She got 666,000 views on this, you know what I mean? Go to her channel, finish it. It's a 2 hour and 18-minute interview. I'm sure later on she'll end up chopping up everything, you know what I mean? But shout out to Candace Owens. She's doing a lot of good work. I'm out. Come and subscribe.